What up and good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday, January 15th. DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk studios this morning. Appreciate you tuning in and waking up and making us a part of your start on this Thursday, whether you are listening to us on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, also available to stream online at sportstalk1051.com. You've got the app, download it, take it on the go, the Wisco Sports App. Tell your Alexa devices to play WAYY. YouTube also up and rolling here this morning on a Takeover Thursday where we put the program in your hands. So if you have any topics that you would like to discuss with the fellow armchair MVPs out there, you can let us know here in just a little bit on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. We got intern Carter sitting across the way as well. You'll be chiming in here in just a little bit. What else do we have on our breakfast menu, on our game plan for us this morning? If you're just waking up, looks like we've got our first head coach off the boards, John Harbaugh. Looks like he will be the new New York Giants head coach. So one possibility maybe for Jeff Hafley taking off the board there. But John Harbaugh, it looks like from all accounts, will be the new New York Giants head coach. So there were 9. Now there's 8. Maybe that'll be the first domino to fall, and more of these hires will be out there. What about Green Bay with Matt LaFleur? It is now Thursday, and nothing has been announced or official about a potential extension and such. Our good buddy Rob Demovsky from ESPN.com with a little bit of a nugget yesterday in a radio interview saying from what he has heard, it's to the point now where it would be a surprise in terms of negotiations. It's at a point right now where it would be a surprise if they don't come to an agreement. So according to Rob, it is close to an extension. It is close for LaFleur and the Packers to agree to that contract extension. But that's where things kind of stand at this point in time. Hey, maybe we'll have the typical Friday news dump tomorrow afternoon heading into the weekend and such when it comes to that. So, but that's where things stand at least according to Rob with the Packers and Matt LaFleur. So, also on the game plan for us this morning. So we'll talk plenty of green and gold. We'll talk, if anything happens to pop up here this morning with any coaching news or updates and such, we'll definitely hit it up and keep you posted here for the next few hours and such. But the Milwaukee Bucks are also back in action tonight, and it's going to be a tough matchup for this Bucks team as they're going to be on the road taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Tip time for that game is going to be at 7 p.m. Again, you can check out the game on your radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. So tune into that. The Spurs 27-13 so far on the season. The Bucks needing some wins here. They're 17-23. After tonight's game, we will officially be at the halfway mark for this Milwaukee Bucks team, 41 games in. So we'll officially be at that halfway through the season, halfway through the regular season already. And then we're getting closer and closer to the NBA trade deadline, which, remember, is at the beginning of February. So we'll see if the Bucks decide to make any moves or not. So also, it is Thursday, which means it's enough is enough. What is the sports narrative out there, thought out there, however you want to term it, that you as a fan are just like, hey, enough is enough with this. Enough is enough with, for example, maybe you're thinking enough is enough with Matt LaFleur being fired. I don't know, something like that, or what's just that other sports narrative and kind of maybe story or rumor or report out there where you're just kind of like, enough with this. So send those on over. You can hit us up with a quick text on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. Or, again, you can send them on over on the YouTube stream. So, also on the docket, we'll catch up with Jake Bilks, our conservation warden, at our typical time at 8:30 this morning for our Tilden Gun at Tailgate Outdoors segment. So that'll be coming up at 8:30. We've got Inside the Hobby, so we'll do that. And that's going to lead into kind of our one of our questions of the day for our Inside the Hobby segment. Again, something we started just a couple of weeks ago, but for sports memorabilia, sports collections and such, because a lot of you have reached out and said you should do a segment on sports memorabilia, sports card collecting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we are granting your wish or taking your suggestions here. So it was actually this day in a little sports history. If you go back to, let me bring it up here so I get the right year here. So yeah, 2001, back in 2001, so 24 years ago today, an anonymous bidder paid just over $3 million for a baseball. That baseball was the 70th home run ball hit by Mark McGwire. So $3 million at that time in 2001 for the 70th home run ball hit by Mark McGwire. My question to all of you sports fans is not to say what's your most expensive sports item or anything like that. But if there was maybe an item that you had all this indispensable income, that money was no object, money was nothing, you didn't have to worry, and you were a big sports collector, what is maybe the one item or a item that you would like to add to your collection? So think about that a little bit and send those messages on over too. Let's have a little fun with this as well. Also, I've got my 10 moves plus an extra credit one. My 10 moves, because we've kind of teed this up for the last couple of days, gave you a little bit of a homework assignment and such. But my 10 moves that I would make if I was running the Packers general manager, Brian Gutekunst. So these are personnel moves, coaching moves, taking away the head coach option on here. So we're running with the assumption that LaFleur will in fact be the head coach moving forward. So taking that away, I've got my 10 plus one extra one because I wanted to do an extra credit one there. What are your moves? So I've been giving you this assignment for the last couple days now. You don't have to do 10 if you don't want. If you got a couple of them, you can do that as well. So, but anything from releasing a player to bringing a different coordinator to maybe signing a particular free agent and such, it's kind of open-ended. I went a little bit deep diving into mine, so that's where I'm at. But if you got yours ready to go, turn in your homework assignments, kiddos. So really quick before we get things rolling here this morning, a little bit more updates on Harbaugh. It looks like finalizing a 5-year deal. And it looks like Todd Monken is going to be joining Harbaugh as offensive coordinator with the Giants. So his offensive coordinator with the Baltimore Ravens is going to be joining him in New York. But all right, that's your game plan for this morning. And again, whatever topics you may have in mind, because it is a Takeover Thursday. So I know intern Carter's got a couple topics that we're going to get to as well. So you can send those on over. You can give us a shout at 715-830-1912. Let's take our first break, and we'll get things rocking and rolling here this morning. We'll be right back after these quick words. When it comes to updating the floors in your home, just skip the big box stores and go local. That's Carpet City Flooring Center here in Eau Claire. They've been helping families across the Chippewa Valley find the perfect flooring for decades. From soft, comfortable carpet to luxury vinyl planks, laminate, and tile, Carpet City Flooring Center has options for every room, every style, and every budget. And you won't be rushed or pushed into something that you do not need. Their experienced team takes the time to listen, answer questions, and help you choose flooring that actually fits your lifestyle. Carpet City Flooring Center also offers professional installation for people who take pride in their work. That means your floors are done right the first time. No gimmicks, no pressure, just quality products, honest pricing, and friendly local service that you can trust. So whether you're updating one room or planning a full home remodel, you can start with a name that Eau Claire and the Chippewa Valley has relied on for years. That's Carpet City Flooring Center. Locally owned, locally trusted. C-Bomb, of course, right away chiming in with his, if he could have one sports memorabilia, it would be Brett Favre's game-worn Super Bowl jersey. Assuming that's from Super Bowl 31, Z-Bomb, and not the Super Bowl 32 loss there. So that's a good one. Keep those picks coming. So let's ask intern Carter, what would be, do you have a sports memorabilia thing that you'd?
Not really.
Not
no.
really?
I've got some jerseys I have.
I see you guys. Is that the gold, Matthew Golden?
It is, yep.
Right.
Yep, got it for Christmas. So nice. I thought I could wear it finally.
Yeah.
He finally scored, but I don't really have any memorabilia, no.
Okay. Well, you got to think about it a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. Did you ever get into sports card collecting?
I do. I do. Mine are all like nowadays players.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did that for a while. I've got some pretty good cards for nowadays.
Right.
But
Is there a certain player that you collect, or are you kind of just all over team or anything like that? Or?
I know I specifically got a Jair Alexander rookie card.
Okay.
With the Packers, and Darnell Savage rookie card. Those are my guys back when they were on the team. So
nice.
Other than that, no, just buy those $1 packs and go through them, see what you can find. So
that's where we're at too with my little guy too. So that's what it was like when back in the good old days when I was your age or younger than what you are right now. So yeah. Yeah. But everybody else, continue to send those on over. Again, if you're just joining us, we've got one coach, it looks like, off the board. John Harbaugh is going to be going to the New York Giants, and it does affect Green Bay a little bit too because, I mean, earlier during the regular season, it was widely thought that Jeff Hafley would be a favorite for that. Jeff Hafley from the area. Got a lot of family still over there. When the Packers visited the Giants earlier this season, he had a lot of family in attendance and such. So that is one. If you want Jeff Hafley to stay in Green Bay, that is one option that's potentially off the board, although Hafley did interview yesterday with the Miami Dolphins, and he's got some more interviews planned here too. And we know Miami's got a connection with him because of their new GM, John Eric Sullivan. So, again, not completely out of the woods if you want Jeff Hafley to return. I say if you want because I think we've had a couple people say that they're indifferent on the situation, whether they would like Hafley back in that. I don't know if it's just based off of this past playoff game and that, but there was a couple people out there. So, and if you're wondering, again, if you're just joining us, the latest on one Matthew LaFleur and his status with Green Bay, nothing official yet, but Rob Demoski from ESPN, who covers the Packers, and longtime listeners know he's a friend of the program and such, he did say yesterday in a radio interview that from what he's been told and what he has heard, that it's progressing and it's to the point that he'd be shocked, or would be shocking, if they do not agree to a contract extension. So maybe by the end of the week, maybe in your typical Friday news dump where, you get that announcement on a Friday afternoon and, you get the weekend and such. So we'll see if that's going to be the case or not. Carter, are you good with LaFleur coming back?
Yeah, I think right after the game, it was emotional, but I thought we needed to change. But now, There's nobody really that I think could do a better job. And I think when I talk about it, it's kind of like, I think if we had Tucker Kraft and Micah Parsons, it changes the whole complexion of the postseason for us. So, yeah, I'd bring him back. I wouldn't sign him to a massive extension, but I think he deserves another year for what he's done for this team. And I don't know how you fire him after a playoff loss. And I get it's to the Bears, so it makes it even worse, right? But it's one bad game, and I think you give him next year and see how that goes.
Yeah. I think it'll be interesting to see how long that extension is for. Is it for a couple of years? Is it for, let's say like Harbaugh just got a 5-year extension and such. I'm going to be curious to see what the years are, and if they're tied also to the length of Goody's contract, because that's another one that they're going to have to work through. Russ Ball, who's their salary cap guy and such. So I'll be curious if they're all lined up equally.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how much control they give them too. If they take some of that and say you need to, fire certain coaches and bring in people or whatever. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, if he got fired, he'd be picked up just immediately, and I think he'd be a great fit for the Ravens. So, but I think he'll stay.
Yeah, so. I think we're at that point too. And honestly, if they're going to make a move, I'd rather have them do it now so they can get into the hiring and interviewing process.
Right, because John Harbaugh's gone.
Right.
So.
Yep. So, I asked last couple days here to give me, everybody, your homework assignment and such, to give me your top 10 or maybe just a couple of moves that you would like to see Green Bay, if you were in control, if you were the general manager and such. What were those moves? By the way, Living a Dream Jeff says he would want Vince Lombardi's house in Green Bay. So that's a unique one, Jeff. I'll be honest, I did not expect something like that, but Jeff, that's a unique one. That's a good, because I believe that a lot of it is still kind of not a whole lot of updating in terms of remodeling and such. I believe, don't quote me, but I believe a lot of it is still kind of like the bar downstairs that Lombardi would always hang out and such is still kind of the same bar top and all that. But that's a good one. I like that, Jeff. Picking a Lombardi one, too, that's close to my heart. So keep those coming. Keep those coming for our Inside the Hobby segment. So I'll just go through my list here. But this is like if I was, I guess, Brian Gutekunst in this instant. My 10 moves that I would make this offseason if I were running the Packers. Now, again, I'm taking the head coach off this one because we're operating under the assumption that Matt LaFleur will be back with the Packers. So, number one, though, for me would be you need to figure out the coordinator aspect of this, whether it's Hafley coming back, new special teams coordinator, I think all in likely. I think, Carter, you and I talked about it a little bit last week. I'd be open to an offensive coordinator coming in that's a play caller like a Mike McDaniel, if that's a possibility. I know he's interviewing now with the Buccaneers for their offensive coordinator. I don't know if he has or is going to for the Lions yet. Obviously, he's still doing head coaching interviews, but if that's something that's on the table, I'd be open for that to explore it.
I think Matt LaFleur even helps you, right? Because he's friends with them, and so keeping him may help with that. Yeah, Mike McDaniel would be awesome.
Yeah, so. And I think, LaFleur, if he were to give up play calling, which I don't know if he'd want to, but if he were, it would have to be somebody that he knows and probably trusts.
Yeah, absolutely. I just think he needs help. Like, even if he doesn't give up play calling, he's doing a little too much right now, in my opinion, and just give a little bit off, even if it's at practice or something.
Right. So I'd look at that. Second one would be, I think you got to take a look at position coaches. There was a really interesting article we talked about a couple days ago that talked about and compared the playoff teams. And this is something that I never really thought of, and I don't think a lot of people thought of, but it looked at the years of experience of position coaches that were in the playoffs. And the Packers were by far the youngest in terms of experience for their position coaches. And when you factor in that Green Bay is one of the younger teams consistently, it's like you got potentially inexperienced coaches coaching inexperienced players? Do they need some more experienced position coaches? Do they need better position coaches at this point? I think that's something to take a look at and go, okay, if this is our draft and develop mode, which Green Bay we all know is, and yes, they make moves like a Micah Parsons once in a while and such, but by their bread and butter, their base is drafting and developing players. I think you probably should look at, okay, our position coaches here, do we need more established, more veteran type of coaches to help out those youngsters? Nothing against younger coaches or inexperienced coaches or anything like that, but for, I think, a team that's got championship goals and aspirations and such, I think that's something that you got to look at from a position group standpoint.
Yeah, absolutely. The wide receivers struggle to catch the ball, and just experience is a massive thing when it comes to the postseason. And I just think you see the teams like the Rams and the 49ers who have been there and done that, and they just win games. And it's something that, you can pass down, but you can't get it without gaining the experience in the postseason. So something needs to be done, right? So if that helps, then that's what needs to be done.
And I think, too, that would probably, at least in my opinion, would help out, like what you mentioned a little bit there, Matt LaFleur, a lot, too, of maybe more veteran established position coaches there. So those are my first two on there. Then we're getting into the meats and the bones of the roster construction here. So let me bring up my cap numbers here, because anybody who knows me knows I love talking some salary cap when it comes to. I hate math, but when it comes to salary caps, this is where I kind of nerd out a little bit. So Packers right now, if you kind of looked at everything, they'd be about $8 million over the cap. Well, about $8.6 million over the cap according to Spot Track here. But what's nice about Spot Track too, you can do this feature where it's manage the roster, manage the team. So with that being said, easy one. Got to move on from Rashawn Gary, I think, this offseason. Releasing or trading, I don't know if you'd get anything in a trade, to be honest with you. So releasing Rashawn Gary would actually create about $10 million in cap space, nearly $11 million in cap space if the Packers were to move on from Rashawn Gary, which I think at this point you have to. I mean, he just for what he is being paid and the return in production that you're getting from Rashawn Gary, and he would be, I think, the second or third highest cap hit for next year for Green Bay, or top 5 on there, somewhere around there. To me, you're not getting that return in production for what he's getting paid.
Yeah, so. Like in the postseason, I mean, he didn't play many snaps at the end of the season. He was getting outpaced by Enigbare. And so when you're paying a guy that much to do very little, it's not conducive to good roster construction.
Yep. So. And then the next one I would do is releasing Elton Jenkins. Elton Jenkins, again, with the huge cap hits, and you would actually save about $20 million in cap space by moving on from Elton Jenkins. Great player, but, with that cap number and such, and factoring in the age and coming off that injury, that screams like kind of a typical Packers move to kind of move on and such. And just with the ability to save $20 million by releasing Elton Jenkins, I think that would be too good to pass, unless they can agree to some sort of, extension or restructure or such that would open up a ton more cap space. I think right now, you're probably looking to release him and creating $20 million. And then the easy one on here is, I think, too, and I'll get to him here in a little bit, but Trayvon Diggs. I mean, you can't, I don't think, keep Trayvon Diggs at his current cap number of like $15.5 million. And remember, Trayvon Diggs doesn't have any guaranteed money left, so you're not stuck with any dead cap money when it comes to Trayvon Diggs. So by releasing those 3 players, you're already talking about gaining nearly $44 million in available cap space for the Packers. So what do you do with some of that money? It's not necessarily just going out there and signing a bunch of free agents. I think if I were Green Bay, you look at working on a possible extension with Jaden Reed. before maybe the price goes up a little bit more. The Tucker Kraft one's going to be really interesting because I think he was in line for an extension, and I think he still will be. But are they going to be as aggressive maybe because he's coming off that ACL injury? I still think they're going to look at it, but I'll be curious if that put a hold on the timeline at this point, or do they use it like, hey, you're coming back from an injury, so we're going to have a little bit of a lower offer at the beginning part of it? Or that one's going to be interesting to me to see how they come up with an extension for Kraft, because I want him back, obviously.
Yeah. He was so good when he was playing. He was so fun to watch. So,
right.
Yeah, I don't know how much, players come back from that well, players don't with Gary, and it's so hard to know. So.
Yep. And I wouldn't put it past them if they would approach Christian Watson again for another extension because, yes, he did sign that one-year extension during the season, but I think it was clearly evident this was probably his best season when you look at it from a vacuum. I know he didn't start the season, but what he means to this offense and obviously the connection that he has with Love, I think we've seen improvement from his route tree. And to me, this year, he kind of showcased that he can be a well-rounded receiver, not just a deep threat either, too.
Yeah, he's the number one that we never had, right?
Right. So I wouldn't be opposed if they're like, hey, let's maybe do a couple more years on your extension and keep you around a little bit, too. So, and then I think, from a corner standpoint, I wouldn't be opposed if they did bring back Trayvon Diggs on a much cheaper deal. Just to kind of look at, I think they need a lot of help in that corner room. And that's even if they do bring in a guy like Trayvon Diggs, I think you have to look at the draft. I know they don't have a first-round pick, but maybe, a day 2 pick. A free agent out there too, maybe bring him back as a Rasul Douglas if you can get him cheaper as a veteran. So I think they at least have to bring in a veteran corner or another corner. I know Nate Hobbs is going to be back, and I don't see them moving on because the dead cap hit is just going to be ridiculous. So they do need another guy, a cheaper veteran, but also a rookie in a draft too.
Yeah, so. Yeah, and doesn't hurt to bring him back on a prove-it deal.
Mm-hmm. So. Yep, exactly. And that I think they need to bring in another defensive lineman to help shore that up. I know Devontae Wyatt's going to be back on a 5th-year option. I don't know. I mean, he's a good player, but that's also a guy that has struggled to stay healthy. So I don't know how much money I want to commit right away to him, and I don't know necessarily if I want to do a contract extension with him at this point. So, but I do think they need more depth at that interior defensive line. Maybe you look at a guy like a Jonathan Franklin Myers from Denver that's going to be available in the free agent market. But somewhere I think they need more interior defensive line help and such. So, and then my extra credit, go get some offensive line depth. Yeah, you need some offensive line depth. I know they like to go out there and draft their offensive linemen like day 3 picks and such, but I wouldn't be opposed if they go out there and maybe get a couple of veterans just to fill out the depth of that roster, because honestly, I feel like right now, if you look at 2026, their starters are probably going to be Jordan Morgan at left tackle, Aaron Banks at left guard. Right now, I'd say Jacob Monk's their starting center. Right guard is probably Anthony Belton. And right tackle, Zach Tom. After that, they're going to need a lot of depth. Yeah. And they're probably going to get some through the draft, but they're good. I want some more veterans added with that depth, too.
Yeah, and you have free agents like Ryan's a free agent, and Kennard's a restricted free agent, but he still could go. So you're definitely going to have to refill that. And Rasheed Walker, so you're going to have to refill that offensive line for sure.
Yeah, and I don't think I'd want Rasheed Walker back at especially what I think he's projected. Now, again, that's a projection, but $20 million per year? No, thanks. I mean, you drafted Jordan Morgan in the first round. You might as well see what you have with him on a full-time basis at left tackle. So those are, and $40-some million may sound like a lot right away to open up, but then you got to factor in your draft class, which, again, they'll be a little cheaper because they don't have a first-round pick, but still, you factor that in. There's probably going to be some extensions. The big one I'm really curious about, and I didn't mention him on there, but Goody has been constantly talking about they want to keep him, is Quay Walker. And Quay Walker is I think is going to be an interesting player to see what kind of deal he gets, because if you look at his Pro Football Focus grade, it's under 50. It's not great, but that's just one tool, a part of the toolbox. And we look at players, and I know not everybody is Pro Football Focus fans and such, J.J. Watt, but then he'll make these splash plays. Like he made a couple plays in the Bears playoff game. He'll do this. The consistency factor, I think, is a big thing when it comes to Quay, but obviously Green Bay really loves him. And Goody last year talked about wanting to sign him to an extension. So that's the one player I really don't know what they're going to do with this offseason.
He's a really good compliment to Cooper.
Yeah.
Just depends on his price tag.
I think that's the big thing.
So you don't want to overpay for an off-the-ball linebacker. But, I mean, linebackers are massive to our defense, and so it wouldn't hurt to bring them back, especially if you can get them for a decent price.
Right. So, yeah, that one to me is going to be really interesting. To answer your question, Living a Dream, Jeff, about is Hobbs a tradable piece? Well, first, you need to find that team that would take Hobbs, but also you're still going to take on a pretty massive dead cap hit, about $12 million in dead cap hit. So, I mean, if you trade him, or in this case, it'd be the same about if you release him, you're going to take a $12 million dead cap hit. And right now he's got a $13 million cap hit. So, I mean, you're only creating $1 million in space at that point. So it's really not, in my opinion, it's not worth it at that point. So you're not creating a whole ton. So, but yeah, that's kind of mine. If anybody else has anything else, they can send them on over too. I'm curious with Lucas Van Ness, because they're going to have to decide this offseason too, do you pick up that fifth-year option for him? And remember, those first-round picks get those fifth-year options. It's a guaranteed salary for that fifth year. He'd be entering his fourth year, so it'd be the following year there. But I wouldn't be surprised if Green Bay decides to do that. It wouldn't be on this year's cap. It'll be on next year. And that still gives them time if they, he goes out there and balls out, in 2026, that they can agree to an extension with him too. So I don't know your thoughts, but I know Keyshawn says he'd like another contract and a pay raise, but I don't think I'd be too willing for that one at this point. So maybe if he'd be returning kicks more often, where he was an all-pro, maybe.
Or could cover on fourth down.
Yeah, that would help too. So, all right, we got to take a really quick break. We got more of your texts and thoughts to get to as well. Don't forget, you can give us a shout, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctors bullpen line. Quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. When your vehicle needs service, you want a shop that you could trust, and that is AJM Automotive in Eau Claire. From routine maintenance to more involved repairs, AJM Automotive delivers honest work, clear communication, and quality service that you can count on. Their experienced technicians take the time to explain what your vehicle needs so that there are no surprises, just reliable results. Whether it's brakes, maybe it's tires or diagnostics, or general auto repair, AJM Automotive keeps you safely on the road and back behind the wheel with confidence. For dependable auto care done right, choose AJM Automotive in Eau Claire, where your vehicle is treated like it matters. And hey, with some of the weather forecasts out there with snow coming, don't forget AJM Automotive also does provide towing services just in case you were to need it, and snow plowing services too. So give them a call when they open up at 7:30 this morning. All right, give them a call at 715-835-9523. Again, 835-9523. And since we're talking about snow and maybe some road conditions and such, don't forget to always stay tuned to our website, sportstalk1051.com. for the latest school closings and delays, the first alert school closings from WEAU 13 News that are brought to you by Hovland's and ServiceMaster. So might be a day maybe tomorrow, maybe this afternoon or such, who knows. But always stay tuned to that. And while you're at our website, don't forget to get your butt on the bus for the WiscoTrips.com 2026 Brewers Opening Day bus trip. Opening day Thursday, March 26th. With this ticket, you get a ride down there and back on a luxury motor coach bus, game ticket to the Johnsonville party deck that includes food and beverages, and a tailgate party from Premier Catering. So, again, go to our website. All the details that you could want or need, and to purchase your tickets at our website, sportstalk1051.com. Just click on the icon on the left-hand side, or you can go to wiscotrips.com. Card Collected Club, Brian over there with a quick take or comment on the memorabilia piece that he would want. He said, biggest memorabilia piece that I would want would be the Hank Aaron home run ball that beat Babe Ruth. True home run king. Biggest sports card that I would want would be the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle PSA 10. Good picks there. I finally got one of the pieces. So I've got a man cave, Carter. Okay, I'm like a sports history kind of nerd in that. So one of the things I always wanted was the 1965 Packers yearbook, because on the cover is Vince Lombardi shaking hands with Curly Lambeau, and I've had conversations with the team historian from the Packers, Cliff Christo, who's flipping awesome. But to hear kind of the background of that photo, and let's just say the dislike between the two, and the story that Lombardi was pissed that was the cover of the yearbook. I'm like, I finally got it this past weekend, so it's hanging up in my man cave. So yeah, but just to know the background of all that is pretty sweet. So finally got it, but I'm trying to think. I'd love so my son is named after Don Hudson, who was Packers receiver from the 40s, 30s, and 40s. I would love a game-used Don Hudson jersey or helmet, I think, for mine. If you go to the Hall of Fame, the Packers Hall of Fame, they got one there, and if you go to the new hotel, at least I don't know if it's still there. When it first opened, it was there. The Tundra Lodge. By their coffee shop. I think it was by their coffee shop. They have a Don Hudson game-worn jersey on display, too. Those things are tiny. They look like, first of all, they look like onesies because they got snap buttons on the bottom. But, I mean, they're tiny. I don't think you could fit it in.
Wow.
Yeah, they're pretty slim. So, but that would be cool to have. So, or a Lombardi era thing, too. Those are my top two. Yeah. I'm more of a memorabilia guy, I think.
Okay, yeah. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
I think for me, something from the 2010 Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I've only been around 17 years, so that's
so you would have been 2 when they won that?
Yeah. So not really watching football, but
still, you just made me feel really old. Oh,
in my lifetime. So.
yeah. Well, I've gotten 2 in my lifetime and then 1 loss. So there's 3 Super Bowl appearances, but 1 loss, 2 wins. So, man, you really, because I was 1 year out of college when they won 2010. I was on my own. So
Okay, yeah.
But
yeah, I'm 1 for 1 in Super Bowls. So.
well, let's pick up the pace here. Let's
kidding.
get some more, okay? We got to get some more. So, let's we're going to take some phone calls here in just a couple minutes if you want to go to that one. So if you want to give us a shout, 715-830-1912. We'll get to those here. We're going to take a really quick break, but if we got a couple phone calls coming up here, we'll do that because we got to play a little catch up. But it's a really quick break, so we'll be right back after these few words. All right, we got a few minutes left to the top of the hour. Let's go to the phone lines here this morning and say good morning to C-Bomb. How you doing there, you fine sir, gentleman, you?
Good morning, El Capitano. Happy Thursday, my brother.
What's...
And to you, too, Intern Carter.
All right, he says good morning, Intern Carter. If you want to put the headphones on, then you can. Is there headphones over there somewhere for you? Should be somewhere. All right, yeah. What's going on with the voice? A little groggly there, man. You good or what?
Well, I was just coughing, and I was coming out of a cough, so I apologize for that. It's that time of year, my brother. You know how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, what's on your mind?
Well, really quick, what's really funny is originally I caught part of the conversation as I was trying to call in. Did we get an age on Intern Carter here? Is he early 20s, right around 20, I'm guessing?
17.
Did you hear him? Oh,
I did not hear him.
Okay, try it again. I didn't push the button.
I'm 17.
17. Oh, good gravy. This one doesn't even so I'm trying to put this into perspective for some of the listeners. You know, we've got, young men coming and women coming into radio, coming into this. It feels like the Super Bowl win with Rodgers was 5 years ago to me, and Carter probably doesn't remember the game. It's like for me, we talk about the 82 Brewers. I was alive for that, and I don't remember any of it. I remember they were good, and there was a lot of talk. I was a young kid, so it's just putting it in perspective, it's been a while for us Packer fans, and luckily Carter's seen a lot of good teams. He just hasn't really got to enjoy them getting over the hump. So you talked about the 10 moves you'd like to see made. I think we need to shake that tree up and really get this organization back to being on the top, not just the, the little brother of the Super Bowl winners every year. So interesting. I did have a topic I was going to bring up, but I just wanted to put that in perspective, man. It kind of makes us feel old, don't it?
Yeah, it makes. Do you remember the first Super Bowl? It doesn't have to be Green Bay, but do you remember the first Super Bowl you watched as a kid? That, like, the first one you can remember watching?
It was Super Bowl. What was it? It was the Redskins. I know it was the Redskins.
Okay.
I was young. I remember them walking off the field. But yeah, I mean, my first actually, I should rewind that. It was San Francisco and Miami. That's the first one I remember.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And I remember it was a lot of talk because of Marino and Montana, right?
Yep.
And they were young, very young. So
Yep.
that was my first Super Bowl that I remember watching with my dad.
My first one, I'm going to make you feel a little bit older, but my first one that I remember watching, like, from start to end was 49ers Chargers and that debacle the Chargers just got dominated. Remember Stan Humphries, the quarterback?
Yep, I absolutely do.
Nope, that's my first
wild.
one.
Don't you? Very good. Yeah, wow. It just enjoy your youth, Carter. You become an old man quick, I promise you.
Exactly. Hey, before we let you go, what was the topic you had? We have a couple minutes yet.
So my topic is kind of this. Can you think across all of the sports landscapes, there's always changes, right? Can you think of anything that changes a sports landscape as much as just changing to NIL with the college athletes, what that's done to sports? And you look at that Dante Moore from Oregon. When and ever since ever did anybody give up being a top 5 NFL draft pick to go back to school? And I don't think that happens without NIL. And the stupid transfer portal. They got all these, like the kid that was supposed to come to Oregon. Dante Moore's coming back, so guess what? I'm not going to go there anymore. I'm going somewhere else. I don't like it. I mean, I think these college athletes should get compensated to an extent, but this open checkbook, that's looking at Indiana, right? Why is Indiana so good? Mark Cuban's dumping them full of money. So guess what? They're going to become a powerhouse because they can afford more, right? So my guess is, what other changes, merging the AFL and building the NFL, like what other changes in sports has really changed the landscape as much as NIL has?
That's a good question. I'm going to throw it out to the rest of our armchair MVPs. What other sports decisions and moves have changed the landscape of that sport? Kind of like what you're saying is with the NIL and college, because you're right. I mean, potentially giving up a top 5 draft status, and he might be making almost the same amount of money or not that far off by just going to college. It is weird for me, C-Bomb, when I see the updates of like so-and-so has re-signed or is signing with this college team. Like that to me, I still struggle to see the wording of that, signing or re-signing. You know what I mean? It's not committing or attending. It's signing a deal to stay with the Badgers or whoever.
Yeah, it is bonkers, and you know what? Maybe I'm just that old curmudgeon. I just don't like it, and I have no problem with these kids getting compensated because it is NCAA athletics is a business, and it's become a business, and they're using these kids, right? So, but there's got to be some type of cap, and this stupid transfer portal. You should get one transfer, and that is it. You're done. I don't know. I think it's ruining the game, and it is affecting the NFL game now. Look, the Jets were going to be drafting that Moore kid, and now they're going to be stuck in purgatory without a quarterback again. So, it's just I was thinking about that. It's like this stupid NIL's trickled hard into the NFL because these kids don't need the money because they're already getting it.
Right, exactly. Hey, appreciate the phone call this morning, C-Bomb. Always enjoy our convos, bud.
You bet. Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking my call. Have a great weekend.
You got it. There you go. There's C-Bomb hopping off here this morning. So let's take C-Bomb's question and throw it out to the rest of the listeners out there. We got Hetch coming in with the 3-point line in basketball as well. That's a good one too. Remember, was it was it Pistol Peter or Havlicek had with your basketball history? Like if the 3-point line was around, like he would just his numbers would just be astronomical. Which one was it? It was one of those, I believe. But yeah, that's a good one back then. So other ones, send them on over. Pistol Pete. All right, it was Pistol Pete. Okay, so thank you, Hetch, for that. Good one. What else? What other changes? We'll get to those coming up here in a little bit because the shot clock is now cutting us off. So already 1 hour in, flying on by on this Thursday morning. We'll be back with more coming up after these quick news updates. All right, second hour, kicking off right now on this Thursday morning. Flying on by. Don't forget, you can join in on the convo. Hit us up, 715-830-1912. Also, you can hit us up with those texts if you got a question for Mr. Jake Boakes, our DNR warden, for our Tilden Gun Tailgate Outdoors segment coming up at about 8:30 this morning. So if you got a question, don't be shy. Send them on over. A couple texts to get to. Mark says the AFL NFL championship, number one before they named it the Super Bowl for this old guy, was my first. Actually, first game I remember was when the Pack beat the Browns in the NFL championship in '65. That's awesome. So that is really cool. Thank you, Mark, for sharing that. C-Bomb, again, with a quick text. He says, by the way, I hate the Bears, and I love to see them lose, but for the great Bears fans like Hetch, I will be happy for him if they are able to make their run. Good luck to the listeners that are Bears fans, but just know I will giggle when they lose. You're a better friend, better man than I am, C-Bomb, because I can't be happy with a division team. I don't know about you, intern. We got intern Carter over there, but I can't do it. Can't do it. I know last time the Bears were in the Super Bowl was in college, and they lost to the Colts and Peyton Manning. And a couple of my roommates were like, we're going to root for the Bears because they're in a division. I'm like, no, sir. I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah, nothing hurts worse than losing to the Bears, especially just seeing them win just with their coach and their quarterback.
Yeah. I know I think I only have one friend who's a Bears fan, and I know he's listening. I don't want to see him happy, so I can't. So sorry, man, can't do it. Can't do it.
Yeah, I have a friend who's a Bears fan too. So
I'm glad I only have one that's a Bears fan.
Yes,
I might be missing somebody, but I would consider it a close friend. Yeah, no, I can't. I don't want that happiness. Although I know his two boys are Bears fans too, so it'd be cool to see them happy. But why? Why is it got to be the Bears?
Yes.
So, we've got John with a quick text. My wife and her family are Bears fans, and it has been rough. So, I'll be honest, Carter, to give you some wisdom as an old man now. I don't know if you have a significant other, but don't go date anybody that's a non-Packers fan, okay? Just, you don't want that in your life.
Makes holidays awkward, I bet.
Right. And you don't want the divided house. I'm just saying. You don't want the divided house. I could be honest. I've never experienced it, and I don't ever want to experience that. So that was kind of my mindset. So I'm like, no. And if you ever make a bold statement to the football gods, you got to follow the football gods. Because in that 2010 Super Bowl, I was dating my now wife for a little over a year, I think. And the Packers were like 2-2. You know, they were off to a weird, like a slow start. They had just lost the Dolphins, I think, or it was either the Dolphins or Washington game. And it was my first job out of college. I was a sports director at a YMCA. And then after you date somebody for over a year, they're like, oh, when are you going to get married and that? I said, yeah, when the Packers win the Super Bowl.
Wow.
They went on that run and won it. And I'm like, don't piss off the football gods going forward. But they haven't won it since, so I don't know why. You know, I got to make another statement.
No kidding.
So just don't do it. Don't do it. Yeah. So, we got, okay. Yeah, I don't need to say that one. But we'll keep you posted if anything does happen in the coaching world. If you're just waking up and tuning in, it sounds like Harbaugh is, he's the new Giants head coach. So he's going to be over there, which for some, if you want Jeff Hafley's to remain in Green Bay, that would be a good sign there, considering he was well thought of as being a favorite over there. He did interview yesterday for the Dolphins head coaching job, so not out of the woods yet. Did see Mike McCarthy apparently is going to be interviewing with the Tennessee Titans. So, but okay. I thought that would. Got to be careful with some of the Twitter stuff out there too. I will say this: a lot of people were sending me Twitter stuff. Be careful about fake accounts and people who, just random accounts out there. Just be careful. Okay, be very careful. If you were running the Packers, what would be some of the moves that you would be doing this offseason that doesn't include firing the head coach? We're taking that one off the table. So operating under the assumption that Matt LaFleur is going to be the head man. What are some of the other moves? Personnel, coaches, coordinators. what are some of the other ones that you would throw out there? If you haven't, utilize the website of SpotTrack.com. Young Carter here did for the first time. It's like playing Madden a little bit without actually playing the game. I know I'm not the only one, but when I was younger and playing Madden, I just wanted to do the roster construction and sim the games and play the GM, and that's kind of like what that is over there. So, but let me know. Just really quick, kind of some of the moves there. If you release Rashawn Gary, you're creating about $10 million in cap space. If you release Elton Jenkins, you're creating about $20 million in cap space. Releasing Trayvon Diggs, that's a big chunk there too. With those three alone, you'd be opening up nearly $44 million in cap space. So, what other moves over there? I feel like those three are like foregone conclusions at this point.
They should be. I hope so.
Yeah, I mean, you're already $8 million over the cap.
But you can't sign anybody.
You can't sign anybody. You have nothing for a rookie. And I know the cap's going to go up, so this is based off a projected salary cap, but we don't know the exact number, but it's probably going to go up, maybe be where it's at, or maybe even be a little bit more. But still, I want some more wiggle room to play with.
Yeah.
So.
And they didn't add a ton to our team down the stretch. Like Jenkins was hurt, Gary stopped playing hard, and Diggs played one down in the playoff game, I believe.
Played one down, and they got pulled because it was that play. I don't know if this is why he got pulled, but I noticed it right away. You had three receivers stacked to one side. Nixon was up there, and Diggs started backpedaling, and then they threw a wide receiver screen because it was two blockers versus one, and then he got yanked. So,
Yep.
Don't know if that was why, but I'm like, that might be a good reason why. So, but hey, hoops wise, we've got the Bucks back in action tonight too. Tip off at 7. You can catch that game on the radio dials, 105.1 FM, 790 AM. They're going to be taking on the Spurs of San Antonio. So another tough match here for the Bucks tonight. Also, C-Bomb threw out that question that's garnered a couple of messages here. What has been the biggest rule change, alteration in the world of sports that has affected that game? So like C-Bomb was saying with the NIL in the college game, we had Hetch talking about the three-point line in basketball. What are some of the other, would you say, instant replay maybe in football? Just how much now it's kind of relied upon and used and such. I'd probably throw that one in there for consideration and such. But what are some of the other changes, rules, adjustments? Is it, the pitch clock in baseball? Is it the designated hitter in both? I'm just throwing out options that maybe you would want to pick for that. So Steve just texted, how about the pitch clock in baseball? So there you go. Got a few of them. You're kind of young yet, so I don't know if you've really experienced a major NIL, I guess, right now probably would be your main one.
Yeah.
Main one at this point.
Besides that, just pitch clock, bigger bases.
Yeah.
I was not around when the three-point line was invented, so.
I think it was already invented when I don't know. I'd have to look it up. So, but yeah, I know Pistol Pete, one of the better basketball players of all time. He's got the talk is if the three-point line was around when he was there, dude would have been amazing. So, okay, what do you got here first?
So in college, it was in 1945.
Okay.
NBA adopted it in 1979.
Yeah, I wasn't around it. I was born in 86. So, that's still a good one, though. But also, kind of our fun little question here. A lot of you have man caves. A lot of you have memorabilia collections and such, because Thursdays are also our Inside the Hobby. And on this day, 24 years ago, an anonymous bidder paid over $3 million for a baseball. It was the 70th home run hit by Mark McGwire. So just kind of a fun question that we're throwing out there is, if you had an indisposable income, money was no object, what would be something that you would like to have to your collection? We've had Vince Lombardi's house. We've had Brett Favre's Super Bowl winning jersey. We've had Mickey Mantle 52 rookie card. We've had Hank Aaron's home run ball. So what are some of the other ones that you would yourself throw out there for consideration? Don't forget, today is also Enough is Enough Thursday. So what's the sports narrative? What's the sports take or the opinion that is just constantly being thrown out there, maybe from national media or other ways that you're just like, dude, enough is enough. Enough is enough with that. Let us know. Hit us up with a text or give us a shout. 715-830-1912. All right. We'll take a quick break here, but take more of your comments and such. A lot more football chats coming up as well. We'll even dabble a little into some Brewers and obviously some Bucks and such too. So, but we'll take a quick break and be right back after these few words. Skip the cooking tonight and stop by Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Their ready-to-eat section is packed with fresh, delicious options from chef-prepared meals and salads to sandwiches, wraps, and hot sides. It's fast, it's convenient, and it's perfect for lunch, dinner, or even a quick snack on the go. Grab exactly what you want, when you want it, and enjoy a meal that is ready in minutes. Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, fresh, flavorful, and ready to eat. It is a Thursday takeover, which we are putting the program in your hands. If you've got a topic idea, you got a question that you want to throw out to the rest of the listeners, let us know, okay? Hit us up, 715-830-1912. Intern Carter over there also, he's got a couple topics in hand. That's where we're going to lead off here with your Jordan Love topic, which actually kind of fits our post-glass and mirror 715 Speaks poll question from last night. So we had asked on the Sports Talk Facebook page, how would you grade Jordan Love's regular season? 18% went with A, 71% went with B, 8% went with C. Actually had 2% with a D on there too, which I'd be curious to know the reasonings for D there. But Carter, your topic idea related to Jordan Love as well, and you threw out there, where does Jordan Love rank in the NFL, or how does he stack up with the rest of the league? So, listeners, chime in, and if you did vote or didn't vote, how would you vote, or how would you grade Jordan Love with how we've seen him throughout this season? What letter grade would you give Jordan there, intern?
I think B is good.
Mm-hmm.
I just think, kind of why I brought it up is Matt LaFleur is getting a lot of flack for our second half collapse in Chicago. And personally, I think some of it should go on Jordan Love because he's getting paid a ton of money to come through in those moments. And it just, he went 15 of 31 in the second half, and that's not good enough in a playoff game. It just doesn't feel like he's got the it factor, I'm going to take over a game when I need to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I'm not saying I don't like Jordan Love. I think he's a great quarterback. I love him on our team. I just, one play sticks out to me in particular. It was 3 minutes left in the third quarter. It was a 3rd and 2. We were on our 45-yard line. And he dropped back to pass, and they had brought 3 rushers. And he sat in the pocket for 6 seconds, had all day to throw. And it was a 3rd and 2. He had a wide open running lane, and he just threw it away.
Oh, I know which play you're talking about, yeah.
And at that moment, I was like, I don't think he realizes that this is a playoff game. I saw Justin Herbert get injured by running the football just because their offense couldn't come up with anything. I mean, even Aaron Rodgers was taking some big hits. And I think Jordan Love can get there, but it's time.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to take that next step because we needed that first down. I mean, 3 and outs to start the second half. You need to give your defense a rest. You have to help the defense out. And so, in my opinion, I don't think all of the second half collapse was on Matt LaFleur, even some of it. But I think Jordan Love also played a big factor in that.
Mm-hmm.
So
we have a quick note from Jake related to that, too. He said, I feel like they limit Love's ability to scramble and run to the point where he doesn't do it when it's absolutely necessary, because it's so ingrained not to. I understand he's a franchise quarterback and he's a phenomenal pocket passer. However, let's maximize everything in order to win. Nobody even accounts for him running the ball, which means more difficult coverage. Make them account for it and even open more things up. So kind of agreeing with what you have to say too. So
and just recognizing the moment. Regular season game, don't get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
You avoid rushes at all costs, slide, whatever. But it's a playoff game against your division rival in which you have to get your offense rolling because at that time, kind of felt momentum was shifting. You got to do something, and throwing it over Matthew Golden's head 10 feet when you had a running lane is not playoff winning football.
Oh, man, it gives me a flashback when we talk about a quarterback. Maybe they should have ran for a play to the 2020 NFC Championship game with Rodgers and Tampa Bay down there. Oh man, that gives me some bad flashbacks to that. So, I think this year for Love, when we began the season heading into it, a lot of people threw out or thought this was going to be kind of a big year for Love. For is he going to take another jump? Is he going to take another, kind of leap? There were some question marks, and I thought he played overall. Yeah, I would agree. I'd probably go with like a BB plus. I mean, he was. If you look at some of the numbers for Love and where he finished and such, you're talking about second in QBR, fifth in completion percentage over expected, sixth in passer rating, eighth in yards per attempt. I think there's a lot of good stuff, and I think he did get better this year compared to the other years. But I think you're right too. There is other instances where there's definitely room to grow and still become a complete and maybe even a better quarterback overall. I do feel like at times he does get still unnecessary flack from a lot of fans.
Yeah, for sure.
I think, I don't know if that's more so from the side we want to say that we were right. Just every time he kind of screws up, it's like, oh, see, this is why we were, trying to get there to be proven right, essentially. But I mean, you look at advanced numbers, advanced statistics and such. I'll say this: I am glad he is the quarterback of
Absolutely.
our team. I'm very happy with him as our starting quarterback too. So, but yeah, I'd probably go around the B too with what the majority's at.
Yeah,
for sure.
And like I said, I love him on our team. I want him back next year. I want him back in future years. But I can't remember how many times you'd see us not convert a third down, and then the TV panned to Matt LaFleur, and he's looking at a tablet, and he's seeing an open receiver, and it's like. So I'm just saying, I think some of the Matt LaFleur flack is too much.
That too. So I think that's a really good point, because at what point do he is going to get all the criticism and the blame, or the majority part of it, from a lot of people, but at what point do we put some of that on the players?
Yeah.
Right? Like accountability, and that's what kind of Micah Parsons was saying a couple days ago in their locker room cleanout, talking about Matt LaFleur, and he's like, we as players got to be held more accountable too, and we got to be more accountable to that and in those situations. So I agree. I think there's a lot to that too, and that's why if I had to pick, I began the week saying I would understand whatever decision Green Bay would make on Matt LaFleur, because honestly, I can make the case for both sides. I can make the case for keeping him. I can make the case for moving on from him. I think as time has gone on, as this week has gone on, if I had to pick a side, I'd rather be on the side of keeping him at this point, because I just think there was so many other factors involving. You can throw in injuries, you can throw in poor offensive line play, like what you were saying, some of the missed opportunities there too. I feel like there was a lot of stuff going wrong this year that could have gone wrong.
Well, and even 2-minute drill, and I didn't think the Packers were going to do that at all, because they've shown countless times they can't. And then Matt LaFleur schemes read open. Love throws a beauty and redrops it. And you could just, they showed Jordan Love, and he's like I can't.
And he doesn't really show a lot of emotion.
No,
in
and
the
he
fact
did
that,
that.
Yeah.
And that's good. He needs to show more emotion. He needs to be that leader. I think that's another thing he has to step up in, because you really saw Micah Parsons got hurt, Tucker Kraft got hurt, and Josh Jacobs started having those fumbling issues, and we really had no leader. And as the quarterback, as the highest paid player on our team, he's got to show that leader mentality. And I think he will. I think he'll step up. But next year, he's got to do it. Next year's got to be the year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so. I could agree with that too. So we've got Josh says B+, room for improvement, but offensive line was mostly bad all year. Had injuries with the receivers as well. Matt LaFleur puts him in the shotgun way too much. Felt a little tentative at times to run because he took some hits, and that could be it too. Kind of feeling some ghosts and such. We've got Surveyor saying he's a top 10 quarterback, no doubt, and he should be at an A- rank. I'm going to let it slide. What do we got here? We've got no one is calling for Hafley's head, even though the second half defense was atrocious. Love gets way too much unnecessary flack, including from listeners too. So, but keep those coming. All right, keep your thoughts coming. 715-830-1912. We got to take a quick break. We'll have plenty more talk coming up here. It is a Takeover Thursday, so what topics do you have in mind? Send those on over. We'll get to those coming up throughout the program. Want to get out this message from one of our good partners, Mike's Star Market on the west side of Eau Claire. Just a few days ago on their Facebook page, they posted introducing their bulk pricing. After 35 years, Mike knows that not everyone likes to eat the same thing. Making preset bundles always results in substitutions. They are now offering bulk pricing instead of bundles. So if you go to their Facebook page, they've got all the prices listed up there, regular price and bulk price. So just a quick reminder that they're going to be closed at noon on Friday and all day Saturday. Friday, going to be, this is tomorrow, January 16th, open from 9 to 12. And open regular hours back up next Monday at 9. But go check out Mike Star Market, our good friends over there, for their bulk pricing orders. A couple of other texts to get to here. We have Evil Surveyor saying the game ball, talking about sports memorabilia and such. The game ball from Wisconsin-Kentucky Final Four game. Mark with a random goofy question that popped in his head when you're talking about Mike McCarthy. Does he ever wear his Super Bowl championship ring to the interviews? Don't know. But that would be pretty baller of him to be wearing that. Adds to the resume, no question. So it is a Takeover Thursday. So another topic at hand here from our intern says, if Matt LaFleur isn't the guy to take Green Bay to a Super Bowl, what type of coach do you think Packers Nation would take Green Bay to the Super Bowl? It's not John Harbaugh anymore. We know that because he's going to be with the Giants and such. So what coach would it be? What type of coach, right? So
yep, I guess I don't know. This is just a question because I think LaFleur's got a great offensive game plan, but I would say more he needs to discipline a little more, like bench guys if they make mistakes. Like the Ravens game just pops out. It just seemed like nobody wanted to tackle, especially our corners. But I don't know. If he's not, who is? So
yeah, that's a good question. Who, and I'll throw it out to the rest of the peeps out there. If it's not LaFleur, if you're not a LaFleur guy, a reasonable pick too. It's not going to be Sean McVay or Kyle Shanahan or anybody like that. So really quick, just switching gears for a little bit because Major League Baseball, going on. Not a whole lot going on in the Major League Baseball world, but once in a while we get to some of this content that's kind of interesting. So like the NFL always does this every year, is their top 100 current players and that, and they've been doing it for years. And I think it's, in my opinion, it's probably a little overdone at this point. But Major League Baseball started to do this, and yesterday they released more players, if you will. And a couple of Brewers just recently showed up between numbers 62 and 63. 62, Bryce Terang. 63, Freddie Peralta. Christian Yelich showed up as the 78th best player in Major League Baseball. Last year, he was ranked number 61. Freddie Peralta was not ranked last year. Bryce Terang was not ranked last year as well. So, with those three making the list so far this year, we don't know the Brewers players between, if there is any more Brewers players, from 1 to 60. I would imagine if I had to pick, probably Cheerio. What would be the maybe Contreras? Yeah, those two would be the most likely ones.
I assume Cheerios on here somewhere.
Yeah, it's got to be those two, right? Because that would be. And I know Contreras had a little bit of a down year compared to the year prior, but he was dealing with some injuries and such. But those would be if Freddie Peralta is on that list, I don't think Miz would be on there.
Not yet.
But
Next year.
It's got. I would imagine it's got to be Cheerio. Now, my favorite player and the greatest player of all time, Sal Frelick, is probably not going to be on there because he just doesn't get recognized. But but that's what I would imagine. Honestly, I think Bryce Terang probably should be a little bit higher, but I get it. And we say a little bit higher, but we don't know who the other players are at this point either. So
it is interesting though that they ranked Jazz Chisholm Jr. right before him.
Mm-hmm.
Because technically they're both second basemen, and Bryce Terang had a better year last year.
Yeah, I think Chisholm probably maybe gets a nod because he's got more power at this point.
Probably.
But Terang showed he can get some power too.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see every year. I think Terang has taken another step in his game. You know, the first year when he was a rookie, I mean, he really struggled at the plate. Year 2, he got a lot better. Year 3, we started to see maybe a little bit more of that power. We know he's a really good defender, so I'm really curious to see what else he has. Like, what's that next step that he's going to take this year? And it wouldn't surprise me that if we're talking about maybe Bryce Terang being a top 2 player on this team after or heading into this year or during the season.
Yeah, for sure. He's up there.
Yeah. No doubt. So I know we got pitchers and catchers reporting. I believe it's under a month from now. So getting close. I mean, we got that opening day bus trip already up at our website. So that's at the end of March. That's only a couple months away. So, you know, games are going to be here before you know it. And I think a lot of people, after the Packers season's officially over with, they're ready to go to move on to baseball and that. But basketball, though, still going on. But I feel like a lot of people are probably checking out of the Bucks right now because of how their season has been going so far. You've got them falling to the Timberwolves the other night in an awful loss, and then you got Giannis booing back to the fans and such. It's, I don't know. Like, I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. You've got the Spurs tonight. You've got the Thunder on Wednesday. You got the Hawks mixed in there coming up on Monday and a day game for Martin Luther King Jr. Day. I'm losing some excitement more and more each day.
Yeah, well, especially the Timberwolves were without Anthony Edwards and Julius Randle, and to lose by 33 is
Rudy Gobert.
Rudy Gobert.
No, yeah. I mean, when you don't have Anthony Edwards in that game and Rudy Gobert, you got to take advantage.
33
on your home court too.
Yeah,
and I get it. Timberwolves are shooting like 60% from the field and 50% from 3, but still, that was ugly. That was bad.
I mean, Thanasis played. That's tells you all you need to know right there.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, but tonight's game, 7 p.m. against the Spurs. A Spurs team that, I mean, if you go back to the offseason at the beginning of the year, they were mentioned as a possibility for Giannis to get traded to. But Victor Wembanyama and Giannis, that should be a fun one tonight. Again, tip time for that game is at 7 p.m. Coverage will begin on your radio dials at 105.1 FM, 790 AM at 6:30. So continue to send us your Takeover Thursday topics. Also, inside the hobby, if you had indisposable income, a lot of money, didn't matter, what's the one sports memorabilia piece that you would love to add to your collection or you would love to purchase? Some good picks out there so far. So we'll take our final break for the second hour. We're already approaching halftime here this morning. Reminder, coming up next hour, we'll talk with Mr. Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin. So he's answering your questions. If you have any questions, please send those on over right now, 715-830-1912. We'll take a quick break as we wrap up the second hour. Coming up after these few words. Looking for quality used parts, maybe for doing some, maybe you're putting, hobby cars and such, and you want to save some money with some high quality used parts. Look no further than ASAP Used Auto Parts and Conrad's Auto Salvage. They've got you covered from engines, transmissions, tires, batteries, and more. Friendly, knowledgeable staff that make it super simple so that you can get back on the road. From salvage to service, one name you can trust: ASAP Used Auto Parts and Conrad's Auto Salvage. You can check them out today at E9889 Albany D, Mondovi, or give them a call, 715-875-4500. So, if you're just joining us here this morning, just tuning in, maybe getting on the road, taking the kiddos to school, or maybe you're heading to work here, just to kind of reset the latest in the news world. So maybe the first domino to fall in the NFL coaching world, John Harbaugh going to the Giants from all accounts. So probably no big surprise there that he's going to be the new head ball coach for the New York Giants. Yesterday afternoon, Rob Demovsky from ESPN, with a little bit of a nugget, saying from what he is hearing with the Matt LaFleur and Packers situation, that talks have progressed, and they're at the point now where if a deal, it would be surprising if LaFleur wasn't the head coach for the Packers. So they're at that point where it seems like it's getting close. It's getting close. So got to imagine the Giants are probably close to making it official, because just a little bit ago they tweeted that little emoji with like a smirk on there too. So I would imagine Giants are probably going to make something official here. But then, it's probably going to be, now that Harbaugh is off the board, maybe a race for these other teams to get the next man, the next coach that they feel like is the top one available and such, whoever that is, whoever that may be. I mean, you still got some coaches that are in the postseason and coaching, but, I know I've mentioned it a couple times, I'm really fascinated to see what both the Steelers and Ravens do, because you've got, well, first of all, two rivals that are not used to the situation, keeping coaches for a long time. Ravens, I think, are in a win-now mode. Steelers probably need a quarterback, but, I mean, that's a job that, with the expectation that you're going to have that job for a long time, as long as you're going to be successful and such. You throw in the Cardinals, you throw in the Dolphins, Browns, Falcons, Titans. You got the Raiders on there too. So curious to see, with Harbaugh off the board, is this going to be that domino effect? Now we're going to see teams trying to get maybe what they perceive as the next best available. So
yeah, I think it'd be funny, but I do think Mike Tomlin is a great fit for that Ravens job.
That would be funny.
It won't happen, but he would just fix that defense. He's got a good quarterback there in Lamar Jackson. If he hires an offensive coordinator, that's good. There's structure there that I think Tomlin could take, but that won't happen.
Yeah, nope. Surveyor memorabilia I would love to have. I'm not going to pronounce that guy's name because he's probably a rugby player, and I have no idea. Is it Jonah Lomu, game-worn all-black jersey. Aaron Rodgers, Brett Favre, Bart Starr Super Bowl jerseys. And the football from the Wisconsin win over Ohio State. So make some room on the wall, though, Surveyor, for the Jordan Love eventual Super Bowl jersey is what I would say to add to that, too. So good one. Keep those coming. I still think Living a Dream Jeff has the most unique one, Vince Lombardi's house in Green Bay. That would be sweet. Because I still think, let me Google it once. I still think it's like the downstairs bar is the same as when he was there. I think so. I'll have to double check it. But because it does have the marker outside the house too. If you ever do the Heritage Trail Tour, Packers Heritage Trail Tour, I don't know. My computer's kind of being weird in that, but that'd be cool. Like, I wouldn't want to touch it or remodel it or update. That would be like the worst thing to happen is if somebody. Because it says it's a museum permanently closed. I think somebody owns it, though. Modern urban, okay. Key original features like the basement rec room and wood paneling remain. Oh, yeah, old school wood paneling from the 60s, man. Heck yeah. That's the worst thing that would happen. Some some person comes in there, doesn't even know who it is, and they just like redo everything. So, but you can't do that. I think probably, I don't know if they, I don't know the whole details about a historical site and such. So I think that's the most unique one. That's a good one, Jeff. I think you're the leader in the clubhouse if I had to pick the most unique one so far. I would just love a condo or something in Green Bay just so I can have more excuses to stay there and go there.
Yeah.
I wish that's what I wish. Just, I don't even care if it's a one-room little condo. I need somewhere to go in Green Bay and stay, so I'm not staying in hotels all the time. That'd be cool. Help me out, somebody, right? Or just get me a plot of land and I'll put a camper on there and do shows from Green Bay more often. So, what else do we got coming up here? We've got, again, Jake Bilk's coming up at the bottom of the hour. I know I did get a picture from you, from Pat, so I did send that over to Jake. So we'll get some of those questions answered from Jake coming up at 8:30, but getting close to the final call. If you do have any questions for him, whether it's ice fishing or anything else related, please text those on over to 715-830-1912. Coming up next hour, too, we'll get to Enough is Enough. What's the sports narrative? What's the sports topic that you're tired of hearing, where you're like, enough is enough with this, all right? Tired of hearing about this, or enough that this person isn't getting enough credit, or enough that this person deserves more blame. Whatever it may be, you can send those on over. Quick note to college basketball last night from a local sense. You had UW Stout taking on the Pointers, and another example of how unpredictable the WIAC conference is. UW Stout women's team falling to Stevens Point, but the men's team taking down 11th ranked UW Stevens Point. Blue Golds, meanwhile, both the men's and women's team falling to River Falls last night. There is a big Blue Gold basketball game, men's basketball game, on Saturday at the Sonotag as they'll be taking on lacrosse. And UW Eau Claire looking to bounce back and get that victory. So a couple more texts going back to grades for Jordan Love. Ben says he would give him a B. I think he definitely took another step this year. Excited to see what the future continues to hold for Jordan Love. That's why I want Matt LaFleur to come back to see the continued growth from Love. John's going to go with an A-. We got another B from Mark and another B from Eric when it comes to Jordan Love. Eric says, I thought Jordan Love had a very, very good year behind a banged-up subpar offensive line and receivers still dropping the ball too many times this year. And factor in Josh Jacobs was also banged up. So keep those coming. You can continue to send those. You can give us a shout, 715-830-1912. Text it, YouTube it, whatever kind of floats your boat. So who do you think, if you had to do a prediction here, intern, the next team to announce their coach would be who?
Oh, boy.
You got Titans, who were on deck. They were ready. They had the plane ready to go talk to Harbaugh. And he's like, thanks, but no thanks. You've got the Raiders. You've got Steelers, Ravens, Cardinals. 8 more teams left to go here. Giants, Falcons.
It's hard because I think the Falcons may wait to see what happens with the Packers. But in my opinion, that's probably the Ravens is close. I don't know. That's a good question. Like maybe just the Titans because they just have to get a coach in there. But
right,
I don't know.
It is. I don't know either. It's tough.
Yeah.
I think the Titans almost regroup and just try to, the fact that Harbaugh is now off the board. I wonder if they just kind of take a step back and be like, okay, let's regroup. Let's not get too antsy on this. I know they're interviewing Mike McCarthy, I think they said today. I don't see Mike McCarthy getting a job, but I just wonder now if they take a little bit of extra time because they got to get that hire right. I mean, all these teams got to get their hire right. Let's not kid ourselves, but I mean, I'm still, the 2 teams I'm most intrigued about are Steelers and Ravens.
Yeah. And I think Stefanski is one of the best head coaches on the market right now, but he coached for the Browns, so would he go to the Ravens or Steelers? I mean, that's not as much of a rivalry, but still it's in division.
Right.
I don't know.
Well, I've got my predictions. We'll do that coming up just past the top of the hour. I am 1 for 1. I did have Harbaugh for the Giants, but that was easy.
Nice.
So I've got my other 8s on here that are going to be all wrong probably. So, but we'll do that past 8 o'clock. If you want to send me some predictions as well, you can do that. To wrap up this hour, actually, I'm not going to have enough time. So, Josh, I will get to your way too early Packers offseason draft / free agent wish list. I'll get to that. It's coming up just past 8 o'clock because the shot clock's going to cut me off here in about 10 minutes. But if you missed it, did give you that homework assignment a couple days ago. What would be the checklist if you were running the show for Green Bay? You can't change headquarters. You don't change headquarters. Can't change head coaches. What else would you do? What are the priority lists? All right. Send those on over. Halftime, 2 in, 2 more to go. We'll take a quick news break and get back to some more football talk coming up after these quick words. All right, halftime is over with. We are on to the third quarter, the third hour this morning. Thanks for hanging out with us. Coming up at the bottom of the hour, we'll catch up with Mr. Boakes for our Tailgate Outdoors presented by Tilden Gun. So getting close to final call for questions for DNR Ward and Jake. Text those on over to that Shoe Doctors bullpen line at 715-830-1912. We've got Josh chiming in with his way too early Packers offseason draft / free agent wish list. Keyshawn Nixon can't be the main corner. Most flags for any defensive back, 14, and also tied for the most flags league-wide, regardless of accepted, declined, in a huge 15-yard penalty against the Bears in the playoffs. Once again, like every single offseason for some reason, defensive back is a high priority. Interior defensive lineman is also a high priority. As we could see after Wyatt went down, I think this would be more important as a good defensive line can make up for bad corner play. Rashawn Gary can go, so another edge is needed. After that, draft 3 or 4 offensive linemen and hope one of them sticks. Depth potentially needed at linebacker and running back. Marshawn Lloyd still a question mark. Rest of the team solid and shouldn't need help as long as they stay intact. So that's from Josh on our Shoe Doctors bullpen. I can get on board with a lot. I think that was kind of similar to a lot of the stuff we've been kind of alluding to here a little bit. So yeah, definitely a corner, defensive line help, offensive line depth. Moving on from Rashawn Gary. So yeah, definitely a lot of common themes from everybody surrounding that. So we've got Swope from Boyd. Swope, do I pronounce your name right? I always wonder if I do. I think I asked you one time, but I just want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Swope from Boyd. Okay, yes, that was a quick text back. Yes. So I think the Packers definitely need a new offensive coordinator. Someone that can challenge Matt's creative mind like the stone sharpens a knife. He is really good at game planning, but he is not good at adjusting his game plan during the game. What are your thoughts? I think this is 2 parts. I am all on board for finding somebody to come in and be the play caller, the offensive coordinator. I think it has to be somebody who is from a similar system or the same system that LaFleur is, so you're not completely overhauling your offense. That's why I think a lot of us would just absolutely love the Mike McDaniel move if that were to happen. If it's somebody like that, yes. I don't think it's going to be somebody that is like a Cliff Kingsbury is not going to be an option, I don't think, because that's something completely different. I don't know. I don't think they're familiar with each other, but it's not going to be somebody that I think for Matt to do that, because I don't think he wants to give it up, but I think if he is willing to, he has to trust that offensive coordinator or that play caller to where, okay, I trust you to go. And that's where Mike McDaniel is such I'm not going to say perfect, I'm going to say a beautiful fit, because they are from the same system. They're friends. They're really good friends. The wild card I'd throw out there that I don't know if I'd be fully on board with, but again, he's somebody who worked under Matt LaFleur, and they have a relationship, they have a friendship, is Arthur Smith, who was just the offensive coordinator for the Steelers. He's available. I guess he's interviewing right now for, was it the Lions offensive coordinator job, I think I saw. But I think a lot of us, I don't want to say everybody, but Mike McDaniel to me is just like the perfect addition to that. I'm putting the odds on being low for that, but if somehow it could happen, sign me up for that.
Absolutely. I actually think Mike McDaniel interviewed for the Lions offensive coordinator job, so that's he'd be good there. That'd be a scary offense. Yeah,
I'd hate that. I don't want that to happen. Mike, don't do that to your friend LaFleur. Don't do that, man. So, I just that to me would be the perfect one. And I know yesterday for our Whiteboard Wednesday, I actually had 3 names for potential offensive coordinator, and a lot of it you have to look at like the Shanahan tree from that. That's where Cliff Kingsbury. That would not be a fit. I don't think.
No.
It would raise some eyeballs, but oh, okay. I'm not on that one. I can't. I don't know if Kevin Stefanski, again, is that long time over in Minnesota?
I think he'll get a head coaching job.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think he'll take an offensive coordinator job.
I'm not.
I don't know.
Well, should we transition to my picks, my predictions, so everybody can tell me how wrong I am, which I'm used to every day, so that's fine. Got the Giants one right. Harbaugh. There you go. Knock it 1 for 1. That's the only one I'll probably get right. So here are my other ones, my predictions. The Steelers one is so hard because they don't go through coaches. So if you go based off their history, they've always gone young, defensive-minded coaches that they plan on sticking around for years. Like I feel like Brian Flores would be a good fit just because of, he was there and such. But I'm going to go with a little bit of a different route. I'm going to go Jesse Minter, who is the defensive coordinator for the Chargers, for that. I want to throw a wild card. I've not seen his name, but I'm going to throw a wild card, like a way, 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 way off-the-wall wild card. If we follow the mold of a young defensive-minded head coach, and because Tomlin only had 1 year of coordinator experience with Minnesota when Pittsburgh hired him. Jimmy Leonard. Just throwing it out there as a complete wild card.
Wow.
That would fit Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that would fit Pitt. Not going to happen, but I don't know why I kept thinking of Jimmy Leonard. Ravens, Robert Saleh. I think you can look at, what has he done with the 49ers offense or defense, their last in sacks and all that. No Bosa, no Fred Warner, and I'm sorry, they're still in the playoffs.
Winning, yeah.
And winning. So a lot of it is because of the offense. But you talk about emotion and a guy who, on the side, watch Robert Saleh on the sidelines. I think a lot of fan bases probably want a little bit of that energy with their teams. Robert Saleh with the Ravens just seems like a perfect marriage.
Yeah. And don't blame him for the Jets because it's the Jets.
No.
So.
And I think, if he's looking at that situation, like, I got a quarterback, I got some pieces on defense already in that would be a really good situation for, I think, Robert Saleh. This is where things get interesting now. So, Cardinals, because I don't know anybody who wants that Cardinals job. It's bad ownership. You got questionable quarterback. Like, is Kyler Murray your guy? Is it not your guy? Are you going to reset everything? So I'm going to go with a completely off-the-wall type of pick. I don't know if he interviewed or he was requested for an interview yet. Former Badger running backs coach back in the day, but he was the interim coach for the Bears last year. Thomas Brown, who is now the pass game coordinator for the New England Patriots. He is also part of the Sean McVay tree, which is also in that division. Cardinals, familiar with that. I just feel like I don't know what the Cardinals can offer some of the top-tier candidates that would make somebody want to say, I want some of that. So I got Thomas Brown over there. Dolphins, I'm going to go Joe Barry. Not Joe Barry. I had Joe Barry on my mind. Joe Brady, excuse me.
I was like,
yeah, not Joe Barry. Not
what?
Joe Barry. Well, he's still with the Dolphins right now as an assistant. But Joe Brady, offensive coordinator for Buffalo. I think that's who John Eric Sullivan. Again, they got to figure out quarterback situation with that one. Falcons, I'm going. There's two names here. It could be Stefanski. I'm going to go Clint Kubiak, though, the offensive coordinator with the Seattle Seahawks. I just feel like Atlanta, the last time they were in a Super Bowl, their offensive coordinator was Kyle Shanahan. And San Francisco waited till after the Super Bowl to hire Kyle Shanahan. I wonder if Arthur Blank is just kind of like, what if we still had Kyle Shanahan with that offense? They've got offensive pieces with Drake London. I know Kyle Pitts is free agent banged up, but then you got Bijan Robinson and such. Quarterback stuff, I just feel like Clint Kubiak working with Sam Darnold and such, if he gets Michael Penix or if Kirk Cousins sticks around, I think you got to go offensive-minded coach. So I'm going to go Clint Kubiak. Titans, it just seems like that the name that has been mentioned constantly is Matt Nagy. I'm going to go Matt Nagy with the Titans. Raiders get Brian Flores. There's a rumor right away that that's who Tom Brady wanted. They bring him in with his attitude. They bring in Brian Daboll as offensive coordinator. I think that's the move they make. Browns, again, this is a weird one. Who wants that? Because who's the quarterback? You got it, but I went with Mike McDaniel on that one. I went Mike McDaniel for the offense. So that means I don't have Kevin Stefanski as a head coach this year.
So then would you take him as the OC for the Packers?
I don't think that's a fit.
Yeah.
Because I think it's different offensive systems to a point, and I don't think you can completely I like the offense as it is, that style of offense. So I want somebody with a similar background to that. That's where I don't think that's a fit. I mean, I get it, play calling and that. I think Stefanski, I don't know if he'll take kind of like a Mike Vrabel year off and then be another hot commodity, the following year sort of thing. But again, I wouldn't be surprised if Atlanta says, or Tennessee says, hey, come here, we want you. That wouldn't surprise me. It's just, these are some, I don't know. I don't have a good gauge on
some of these are so hard to predict. Like, who really wants a Raiders job?
Right.
Or the Browns.
And I don't like that Mike McDaniel pick to the Browns. The only reason I did that was he used to coach there. Does he want to jump in right away, get another head coaching opportunity? Or could he be patient? I think he could afford. I think what would really help if I was talking to Mike McDaniel, don't settle for the Browns. If there's not a situation, he is in a prime spot to go to a prime offensive coordinator position, whether it's Detroit. You go to Detroit, you work a year over there and do your magic, you're going to be a head coach again. Heck, even if you go to Washington with Jaden Daniels and that and you're going to be a head coach again. I mean, go to Green Bay, you're going to be a head coach again.
Look at Robert Saleh.
Yeah.
I mean, he took a year off and he's right back on. Mm-hmm. He's going to be a head coach likely. So.
Yeah, I think Mike McDaniel's going to be a head coach again. Just don't go into a crappy situation. Mm-hmm. That's what I would tell him. And I think the Browns are kind of a crappy situation. So I guess the other option there, I don't even know. Maybe a Cliff Kingsbury goes to Cleveland. Mike McDaniel would be interesting, I think, in Atlanta, because I see you got that up there with those offensive pieces too.
Yeah.
But they don't have a GM either, so I don't think Baltimore goes with Cliff Kingsbury.
And why would you hire Cliff Kingsbury? I mean, he got fired from the Commanders. That just doesn't make sense to me to bring in him.
Jim Schwartz actually might be the option for Cleveland. I could see them just going with, because there seems to be, I read one rumor that they want to keep Jim Schwartz at defense coordinator. Why wouldn't you? So whoever the incoming head coach would be is like, okay, you got to keep Schwartz. And that's kind of where a lot of people are thinking Mike McDaniel. But yeah, they might just have to go with Jim Schwartz and promote him to head coach. So we'll see. Jesse Minter, Miami, John Harbaugh. Yeah, that's the Giants. So, yeah, the Flores one, that one seems like the natural one to Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh always just kind of seems to go, I shouldn't say always because it's very rare that they have a head coach, but the Tomlin one surprised a lot of people.
Brian Flores to me seems just like Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
And they fired him.
Well,
or he stepped down.
He took a coordinator job, so he was a linebackers coach with Pittsburgh for a year. Then the Vikings hired him as his defensive coordinator. So
he just seems like Mike Tomlin.
He does.
I don't know if they want another Mike Tomlin.
I think that would be a big hire. I think that would be a good hire for Pittsburgh. It's just do they want to retread? Or do they go with what they've always done and kind of go with the first-timers, a young, up-and-coming coach? Because Brian Flores has already been a head coach with the Dolphins. So, and the whole lawsuit thing with the NFL, I don't know if the Steelers, I don't. That's a tough one. I know they already requested an interview, so obviously they're a little bit intrigued and such. So,
what about John Gruden? He won't with all the lawsuits. Do you think he still could be a good head coach?
I think John Gruden is, I'm gonna be careful in what I say. I think John Gruden gets a little too hyped up for a lot of people. I'll say I think he is a little overrated. Because I mean, when you look at his records and his wins and losses, the last time he had a double-digit win season was 2005 with Tampa Bay. He won a Super Bowl his first year in Tampa, essentially taking Tony Dungy's team. And he did good stuff with the Raiders in his first tenure. He was 12-4 in 2000, 10-6 in 01. But after 2002, after that Super Bowl year, he had only one season with double-digit wins, and that was 2005. What on there besides his fiery personality, which I don't know if that completely works with the NFL in this day and age, what about it screams like that's a go-to guy? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he's a name. He's a name people recognize. He's got the fiery passion. I look at results and say, why would I want some of that?
Yeah.
I don't see it. I don't see it. I'd like to see him in college, to be honest with you.
That would be interesting.
I'd rather see that, but I think you're talking about a guy who has a career record of 117 wins and 112 losses, 5 games over 500. So it's like Mike McCarthy has better numbers. Mike McCarthy has over a 600 winning percentage and the same amount of Super Bowls. Matt LaFleur has a higher winning percentage. Obviously, he hasn't gone to a Super Bowl, but he's. Even with Tampa Bay, he was 57-55 outside that one. How many years in Tampa? So he only won. Yeah, all those years in Tampa, only twice did he have double-digit wins. 2002, the Super Bowl year, and 2005, 11-5. So, I'm not a Gruden guy. I'm not a Gruden guy. So, and I know some people have said they want John Gruden, but I don't feel it. I don't get that vibe.
Yeah.
So, all right, we got to take a quick break, and then coming up in a few minutes, we'll catch up with Jake, our DNR warden buddy. So, last call for those questions. Text those on over 715-830-1912. Quick break. We'll be back after these few words. All right, in about 7 minutes, we'll catch up with Jake. So, again, final call for any questions for Mr. Bulks. You can text those on over to 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. Still nothing really updated yet in terms of coaching besides see, now I got John Gruden on my mind. Thanks, intern. So John Harbaugh, going to the New York Giants. It looked all but official. I mean, officially official, I should say, at this point in time. So, and then we'll see probably some of the dominoes fall, maybe this weekend or maybe the early part of next weekend or next week. So, reminder too, Bucks are back in action tonight, taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Tip times at 7. Coverage will begin at about 6:30 on your radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. So I'm starting to lose more and more each day of my excitement surrounding this. But it's pretty low on a scale of 1 to 10. I'm probably at like a 2 or 3. I hate to say that, but it's. I really hope they can change stuff at least for a while here until we get to spring training. Otherwise, it's going to be a long couple months or so. So, but it ain't feeling good right now when it comes to this Bucks team. It just, we talking about NFL coaches and such, like, and again, I don't like banging tables and pounding tables to say fire so and so. I don't get into to that. I don't like calling for people to lose their job and firings and all that. But I look at the Bucks and I'm like, what is it about Doc Rivers that is like they're still hanging on with that? I don't get it.
Probably because they're paying 4 coaches right now.
That is probably a big reason that they're paying a lot of fired coaches a salary right now. It's just this is crumbling fast and fast and fast, and they got to figure out something to change this momentum. And I don't know what it is at this point. I really don't know what it is. They're going to lose tonight to the Spurs, I feel like. They may win on Monday against the Hawks. They're going to lose to the Thunder next Wednesday. So, I mean, that's 18-25? And then they got the Nuggets after the Thunder, so you're talking possibly like 18-26. 8 games under 500, heading into the third quarter of the season. I don't think one trade's going to do enough to get this team back on track either. So,
No.
It sucks. It really sucks because you got an all-time great in Giannis, and right now it looks like they're not even going to make the postseason. So, all right, that's a really quick one because we got to get to Jake here. He's ready to rock and roll and get to it. So we'll take our break and get to Mr. Bulks coming up here in just a couple minutes. Switching gears here for a little bit, it's time for our outdoors chats with Mr. Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the great state of Wisconsin. Jake, good morning, sir. How you doing?
Good morning. Doing well. How are you guys?
Not bad, man. Not bad. So getting ready for, sounds like some more snow and such, which I'm sure the snowmobilers and such are looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. It was such a promising start to the winter, and then it has just gone the whole wrong way. I know we talked about it last week too, but hopefully we can get some snow in the next couple of weeks. You know, I think the hard packed trails can support some snow and get the groomers out there and ripping right away, but we have to have enough snow first,
Right.
you know, to get them back open. So it'd be fun.
Mm-hmm.
We got some sleds on the team that we want to get some miles and hours on and go contact people and have fun and work and patrol too, and it's just not happening, you know.
Right, exactly. Well, hey, we got a couple messages to get to. So are you ready to jump into it?
Oh yeah. Always ready.
So yesterday, I was actually towards the end of the program. I got a text. No messages, or I think there was a message. It said it was just outside of Bloomer, but it was actually a trail cam photo. It looks like a cougar with a collar on there. So I'm assuming they wanted me to tell you about it or show you. But so when it's something like that, Jake, if somebody catches something on a trail camera or they see it like a cougar, which is got to be rare for around here, is that something they should let you know? Is that something they should let the DNR know, saying, hey, spotted this, or hey, this showed up on my trail camera?
Yeah, so there's definitely a cougar moving across. It's probably way out of Chippewa County, to be honest, by now. Whether, you know, I would imagine it's up in northern Wisconsin by now, but I'm not sure. I kind of stopped tracking it myself or following the conversations. But yeah, we get a lot of information on it or calls on it from the public. It's obviously not common to have cougars in Wisconsin, but it's not uncommon to have them ripping through the state, walking through the state, just like wolves when they're young, when they're juveniles, when they're trying to find partners and mates and their range and stuff like that. They move a lot, and that one was I think originally tagged somewhere out west from what I've heard through the grapevine, I guess, out west or in the Midwest somewhere. So definitely just kind of moving through the area, which isn't uncommon. Technically, people do not need to call the conservation wardens. There's nothing we're going to do unless you know someone's like has a vendetta against it, or they're going to try to chase it, hunt it, kill it, poison it, something like that. Then please, for sure, give us a call. You know, it's a protected species. There's no hunting dates, or there's no hunting season in this state, obviously. So it's a protected species, which means you can't harass it, you can't hunt it, you can't train on it, you can't do anything. It's like a moose or something. You got to leave it be, let nature be nature. So you don't have to call us unless you think there's some sort of violation associated with it. But on the DNR website, there is a place where you can report a cougar sighting or observation. It's actually the same form that you would use for anything. Like if you wanted to report that you saw a lynx or a moose or a cougar, even Bigfoot if you wanted to. You could go use the wildlife observation form, and it's really easy to find. I just did it while we're talking, and I just typed in DNR, Wisconsin DNR cougar, and the first page was a whole page dedicated to cougars in Wisconsin, and right away it says report a sighting. Please use the wildlife observation form. You can pop that up, put in the information, put in the pictures and such if you got them, and then it'll submit it. It's actually kind of a cool page on our website here. I've never actually looked at it, but in this report of sightings tab on this Cougars in Wisconsin page, it actually shows all the reported observations back to 2019 with the photographs that people have sent in. So like I'm kind of scanning through it right now, and it's very interesting. There's some treed ones here from 2020. Last year it shows that we had 37 reported ones, like confirmed and reported. And then it shows the trail camera pics. It shows some of the tracks and different stuff. It's actually kind of a cool page I didn't know we had. So if you're interested in it, you can go look at it. If you want to report it, definitely report it through that observation form. And then if you want, you can give us a call, but there's really nothing, again, that the conservation wardens are going to do besides say, that's cool, report it on the form, unless there's some sort of violation associated with it.
I don't know about you, man, but I've had this discussion before with some friends and that for hunting and that. I don't think anything would like freak me out more than walking through the woods and I see a cougar treed up in a tree looking at me. Like bears, okay, whatever, but like or of course outside of a Bigfoot. I mean, I still want to see Bigfoot, but I mean, cougar would probably scare the crap out of me, dude.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Based off just like what you hear out west, some people can be afraid of coyotes in the state, but in reality, they might attack a little pocket dog type thing, but they're not generally a threat. But you go out west and you see these cougars in neighborhoods, you see them in schools, you hear the stories of hunters where they're following them out of the woods and stuff like that. So it would definitely probably raise the hairs on the back of your neck if you saw a cougar just staring at you down in up in Taylor County or whatever,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I still say one of these days, you and I, we got to do like a DNR Gone Wild podcast, and I got to hear some of these Bigfoot stories that you've heard too. So just say it. We got to.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm sure we've all heard them, seen them, have them. So I bet you it would be a popular segment.
Yeah. Oh, I'm wearing a Bigfoot hoodie right now that says Sasquatch Hunter or Hunts Club. So, I mean, come on now. So,
I like it. No, I like it.
Another texter, I think this is something we've touched on in the past, but maybe a good to bring it up here. But texter asked, with all the ice fishing contests that are about to start or are going on, do contests still have to follow the normal fishing rules set forth by the DNR fishing regulations?
Yes. Unless they have some special permit where they can do this or that or the other thing, which is extremely rare. Some tournament, like the only like exemption I'm thinking of is like some areas, they'll release a fish, which you need to get like a permit or this or that because you're basically stocking a lake or a pond or something where they release a big trout to catch or something like that. So there's some like behind the scenes work on that, but otherwise, it is all the normal regulations, all the normal seasons, everything is regular. It's just that on that day where you're fishing or you have to buy a $20 ticket, you're just turning your fish in for a prize or a potential chance to win a prize or something like that. So, for example, Altoona here has like the 24-hour tournament. When you're there, when you're fishing that tournament, all the size restrictions for walleye are in effect. The seasons are in effect, but the seasons are all still open at that point. The bag limits are still the same, 10 panfish on that lake. And then all the equipment stuff is the same, three lines or 3 hooks, lures, or baits. And the big one when it comes to ice fishing tournaments that we've found is the whole unattended tip-ups or unattended lines, because they'll catch a fish and they want to register it, so they leave all their tip-ups out and then they drive across the lake or off the lake and up to the sportsman's club or the bar or whatever it is, and now they got 3, 6, 9, 12 lines hanging out with nobody around, which is a violation, or a lot of violations. Also, we see like people will go to the bar in the evening, or they have to go buy their tickets in the evening, and they close up their shack and leave their lines in the water. Well, again, that's unattended lines. It's basically an automatic citation. You're not there to immediately respond to the indication of a bite or a flag or any of that kind of stuff. So everything does stay in effect. We obviously use our discretion and stuff when there's a lot going on and people are doing different stuff, but it's really important that you still follow the same rules and be a good ethical sportsman or sportswoman when you're out there.
Jake, something that you kind of mentioned too, did I read that right? Like AI regulations kind of being floated out there and such. That's got to be kind of scary.
Yeah, that's kind of popped up to my knowledge this week, and I've seen it. I just haven't really put 2 and 2 together. Thinking about it professionally, is that we all use our phone to check the weather, check the traffic, check the regulations. And especially Google, well, I only use Google, but whenever you pull up, you put something in Google, the first thing that pulls up, it seems like it's got like this AI co-pilot or whatever. And what we're starting to get a lot of reports of, and what a lot of wardens are running into in the field, is that someone's going to type in, is there a walleye length limit on Lake Altoona, for example? It seems like you have a 50-50 shot on whether they tell you the right thing or not.
Okay.
But the problem is that everyone's taken that as like that is the regulation. So I had a few people recently on Lake Arbutus and up in Chippewa County do that, where they typed in like, what are the walleye regulations for Lake Arbutus? What are the walleye regulations for Miller Lake? And it says something that is wrong, and then we're checking people with illegal fish. So we definitely understand, and again, we're going to use our discretion and, use common sense to say like, yep, okay, I see what the mistake is. We see what's going on here. But the reason I appreciate you bringing it up is that at the end of the day, it's up to the sportsmen, sportswomen, it's up to all of us to actually know the regulation is. We all know AI has a bunch of issues. So the only true regulations are when you go into our, you grab the hard copy book, or you go to the DNR webpage and you download or look at the PDF version of our regulations. If you go to lakelink.com and read some Minnesota fishing regs, the chances of those being accurate or timely, who knows? Same with Wisconsin. And same with the AI. So you really want to make sure, it's a good reminder, we always talk about making sure you have licenses and you check the regulations. Well, I guess we got to add that you need to check the regulations in our actual PDF or in our actual DNR regulations, and not just go off what Google AI or whatever AI chat you're using.
That's something I guess I never even kind of thought about too. Yeah, you're right, because it's probably think it's simple. I'll just Google, go on there, Lake Altoona fishing regulations, and pop it up and think it's true. That's a good tip, because I never really thought to think twice about that, to be honest with you. And yeah, I'm sure a lot of people are probably thinking the same thing.
Yeah, and yes, it's interesting, because I just typed it in right now while we're talking, walleye regulations Lake Altoona, and the first thing that comes up on my work phone here is an AI overview from Google. Mm-hmm. For Lake Altoona, Eau Claire County, 2025 sixth season, yada yada yada. May 3rd. I'm trying to see if I don't even think the dates are totally correct on here for when the season's actually open. But anyways, so that's the point of it. Like, AI is, there's some stuff that is right, there's some stuff that's wrong. AI is inherently, like, it's in development. I think we all seen that, heard that, know that. So it's the same for here. I do like how it writes, important considerations, official source, always confirm with the current Wisconsin DNR regulations guide, as rules can change annually. So I guess I'll give it to AI that it says that.
Yeah.
So the whole point of it is, like, you just never know, and we don't want to see someone like lose a fish or get a citation because of that, because they're trying to do the right thing or stuff like that. And again, I would say that the conservation wardens have a lot of common sense. We talk to a lot of people, and we can tell when there's an accident, a mistake, like a true, like, oh, I try to do the right thing type of moment, versus that's just an excuse you're using because you got caught overlining or something like that. We'll be able to figure out, what was an intent versus an accident. So don't worry about that. The big thing is, like, try to do your best to make sure that, you're always finding that true regulation straight from our DNR resources, or whatever it would be, fishing, hunting, trapping, or ATV boats. Just make sure you're going straight to our actual information versus, third-party sites or AI, or even sometimes friends and family. Obviously, I love my friends and family, but it doesn't mean they know what they're talking about all the time.
Right. Well, hey, Jake, before we let you go, maybe just another quick reminder, maybe some last-second tips, because it is free fishing weekend for that, starting on Saturday and Sunday. Yeah. So maybe just a final reminder of some maybe the major stuff that you kind of run into on free fishing weekend.
Yeah, it goes right along with the question about ice fishing tournaments. Free fishing weekend, everything stays the same, bag limits, size restrictions, equipment, gear, all that kind of stuff. The only thing that is different is that instead of having your annual fishing license or a daily fishing license is that you can just fish for free. So you don't need a trout stamp if you're doing the early catch and release season. You don't need a fishing license if you're going to participate in a tournament or go jigging up some panfish or something like that. So it's a great time where if you got friends in the cities and in Minnesota that want to come out and fish with you for a day, invite them out. It's going to be cold this weekend, but you can fish for free. But again, just even though you don't have fishing licenses, make sure you understand what the bag limit is if you're keeping fish, or what the size restrictions are.
Mm-hmm. All right, good stuff as always. JK, dude, appreciate the time as always. Enjoy the rest of your week. Stay warm, and we'll catch up with you again soon, okay?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, you too. Enjoy it. Good luck fishing if everyone gets out this weekend. It should be fun, just a little chilly.
Yep, exactly. All right, dude, stay safe, and we'll catch up soon.
Yep, see ya.
Yep. There you go, Jake Boakes, Conservation Warden for the state of Wisconsin. All right, let's take our final break for the third hour. We'll be right back after these quick words. All right, getting close to wrapping up the third hour. Big thanks again to Mr. Boakes for hopping on every Thursday to answer your outdoor-related questions. Coming up tomorrow, or not tomorrow, next hour. See, I'm already on to Friday. Coming up to next hour, we'll kind of reset everything. Some stuff that we've been talking about. Packers, what would be your to-do list for this offseason? And you can't say replacing the head coach. That's off the table. So what are some of your top things that you would say is on your to-do list? Is it releasing Rashawn Gary? Is it finding new coordinators? Is it doing this? Is it doing that? What is on that to-do list? Let us know. Hit us up. Also, it is a Takeover Thursday, so if there's any topics that you want to hit up, hey, this is the day to do it. So send them on over. We'll get to those as well. It is also Enough is Enough at Thursday. What is your sports, or what's the sports narrative, or what's the sports opinion out there where you're like, man, enough's enough with this? All right, send those on over too. So we've got no updates yet. I keep refreshing Twitter. There's still nothing yet there, intern Carter. Whether there's going to be any Packers movement today or such. But I think everybody's just kind of like, I'm at the point where just get this done with so we can move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't want to not have a coach.
Well,
I mean,
yeah.
we do, I guess. But
right. It's just I want to get this thing done with so we can move on and focus on the next thing here too. So, yeah. But I saw reports Harbaugh, $20 million per year for John Harbaugh. I don't know if that's completely accurate, but there was, I saw one, it was like 5 years, $100 million, so like $20 million. I don't know, again, if that's true. Be careful with Twitter and all that stuff, but holy moly, if it's $20 million.
I would have taken that job for that much.
Heck yeah. And it wasn't that long ago when John Gruden signed like $100 million 10-year deal. That's only $10 million per year. So, if that is the case, that's a big chunk of change. But I think Giants, too, they got some money, and they're probably pretty desperate at this point. So, but that's the first domino to fall. John Harbaugh going to the Giants. We'll see if – I don't think anything else will probably hop today. Could be wrong, but I would say maybe this weekend or maybe early part of next week and such. So, but a couple of texts to catch up on as we wrap up this third hour for our Packers to-do list. I'll just say this. I'll kind of sum it up in a couple of them. Releasing Rashawn Gary has been a very popular pick for this to move on. So I guess the question on that would be then, are you comfortable, if you're a Packers fan then, are you comfortable if, one, you'd be comfortable Micah Parsons is one of your edge players. Let's not kid ourselves. But would you be comfortable if the starter on the opposite side is Lucas Van Ness? So do you think a Lucas Van Ness and a Micah Parsons starting defensive line where those two guys are on the ends, is that good? Is that good enough? Is it 5 years?
That's what it says.
Nearly. Wow. $20 million. Think about that. Wow. $20 million. A raise from his previous $17 to $18 million involved. This is where I think it's getting tricky, too, for Matt LaFleur. With, like, how much do you pay Matt LaFleur per year? Because last week or the week before, I looked up numbers. And, again, these were based off estimates. He was about $5 million per year. So first-year head coaches like Liam Cohen this year, and ignore the fact that they made the postseason because they didn't know when they signed it. They were making $12, $13 million per year. I could see why Matt LaFleur would say, okay, I want more. Probably deserves more. Let's not kid her. So I'm really curious to see where that number is going to come in from, if we even find out the exact details for LaFleur. Yeah. Because if it's around, I got to imagine he wants at least $15 million per.
Probably. I would not pay him $20 million a year.
No. Let me see if I can find highest paid NFL coaches. So this was from September of 2025. Andy Reid was at about 20. Sean Payton was 18. Harbaugh was third on that list at 17, but he's probably going to be right there at the top. Tomlin had 16. Jim Harbaugh had 16. Sean McVay had 15. Nick Sirianni, 15. Kyle Shanahan, 14. Mike Vrabel, 14. Ben Johnson and Kevin O'Connell had 13. Yeah, I could see where Matt LaFleur probably is looking to get around that $15 million range.
It's probably a good price for him.
Yeah. And then I think the other question after that's going to be for a lot of people, how much money is going to be left over for assistant coaches. But, man, and I think that, yeah, boy.
I mean, at this point, we're going to have to see what assistants we're going to have to hire. Because still, I mean, Rich Bisaccia still has a job right now.
He's, I believe, the highest paid special teams coordinator still out there. So, yeah, man, $20 million per year. Yikes. And I'm sorry, but I think $15 million in Green Bay would probably go a little bit longer than $20 million in New York.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious if that factors into a lot of these negotiations. You would think it has to. Hey, we're in Green Bay. We're not in New York. Your dollar might go a little bit further than it would in New York.
Probably.
I would hope that's the case, but and like some other places too, you know, where there's sales tax and such. So so I just saw this talking about like to-do lists and capper or salary cap stuff. Ken Ingalls, who does the Packers salary cap on Twitter and such, he's a really good follow if you're on social media. Packers traded away Kenny Clark after training camp in 2025. The Packers paid Kenny $8.2 million of cash and took an $18.1 million dead cap hit in 2025 on the way out. Clark's contract will hit the Packers one last time in 2026 for another $17 million dead cap hit. Yikes. That's still a big hit, too. But after that, it'll be fully cleared off the books. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut me off here in about 15 seconds. So, we've got some more to-do lists coming in. We'll get to those after our news updates and kind of reset everything here for the final hour. There you go. Shot clock. 3 in, 1 more to go. Final quarter coming up after these quick words. All right, final hour is here on this Thursday morning of January 15th. Thanks for hanging out with us. We've got some more Packers talk. We're asking, what would be your to-do list? If take head coach off of it, you got to keep Matt LaFleur. And the latest reports come from Rob Domofsky yesterday saying, from what he's been hearing, that it's to the point now where it would be surprising if LaFleur isn't the head coach. So it sounds like talks are progressing and such. So let's assume that he is going to be the head coach. What would be the next on your to-do list if you were running the Packers? John says, release Rashawn Gary, Trayvon Diggs, and Elton Jenkins. Fire Adam Stenovich. Hire Mike McDaniel as offensive coordinator with play-calling duties. If Hafley takes a head coaching job, then hire Raheem Morris as defensive coordinator. Let go of Rich Bisaccia and get a new special teams coordinator. Like, that's a lot of the same one. I shouldn't say same ones, but it's very everybody's kind of got I guess same one, like, for better word. I was trying to think of something different to say, but yeah, it's pretty much we're in agreement with a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Whether Green Bay is,
yeah,
what remains to be seen.
I mean, Mike McDaniel is a very popular guy, so he would be awesome to bring to Green Bay.
He would. I would be on board with that. I think it would be a short stint because I think he would do a really good job calling plays, and then somebody's going to want to hire him as head coach. But I think you're at that window right now. You can't think about that. I think you got to take advantage of your window to go get that trophy, go get that championship as soon as you can with what you have with Micah and Jordan and et cetera, et cetera. So, and with LaFleur, who's at least in a fan's perspective on a hot seat, it'd cool that down quite a bit if he wins the Super Bowl right away. Yeah. So,
well, it'd be worth it just to get back to a Super Bowl for 1 year.
Yep. So it sounds like Harbaugh is getting around $20 million. We were kind of chatting a little bit about off the air. If Mike Tomlin said he'd want to coach this year, I'd be curious to see how much he would get. Would you? Let me ask this. Would you pay more for Mike Tomlin or Harbaugh?
Oh, boy. See, well, that question really is who's the better coach. I don't know. I think Tomlin's done less with more, but at the same time, you look at his playoff record, and it's rough. And John Harbaugh hasn't been able to get past the Chiefs, but who has? Yeah, that's a good question. I would.
I think I'd lean a little more towards Tomlin because of what you just said.
I think
doing more with a little less, especially from the quarterback perspective, right? I mean, how many different quarterbacks has he had to? Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers this year. I mean, and Harbaugh's had a 2-time MVP in Lamar Jackson. So I think I'd probably go Tomlin. And I mean, if you want to factor it in, Tomlin feels like he's only 53.
Yeah, he feels older than that.
Harbaugh is 62, 63. Yeah. So that'd be the other part in it. And I know Harbaugh's only got like a 5-year deal in that, but I think I'd go Tomlin.
I think I would too, yeah.
And I mean, it is ridiculous. It's just that you coached 19 years and you never had a losing record either.
It's insane.
You're almost guaranteed to have a winning season at that point.
But a lot of teams would take that nowadays.
Oh, heck yeah. That's where, if we spin it back to the LaFleur thing, it's like, I get it that we pay more attention to what goes on in Green Bay and such. But then, I see some of the national people, like a Schefter or a Mina Kimes or, those people who are on a national stage, and they continue to say, don't know why Green Bay would move on from him. And they talk about, do we have this, to quote Mike McCarthy, a polluted mindset? Are we just so ingrained to that? Should we listen more to those people who maybe have an outside perspective, or do we have the advantage because that's what we watch the most? It's unique conversation surrounding Matt LaFleur because it's like you said, and a lot of people have said, if he's available, teams will be lining up to get him. So if that's the case and we're saying that, why wouldn't we want to keep him then?
Yeah, exactly. I think we're a spoiled fan base too, just because we've had so many good quarterbacks, good coaches. We're just winning a lot right now, and that's the same boat the Steelers were in. and they fired Tomlin, although we do have more playoff wins recently. But
Or Tomlin stepped down, so
Yeah, true.
Harbaugh.
That's
yeah.
true. But I don't know. I don't know why you'd move off Matt LaFleur this quickly, but at the same time, right? Like I told my Bears friend just to get under his nerves that he was so happy with their win against the Packers, he called it their Super Bowl. I was like, well, as Packer fans, we don't strive for mediocrity. We strive to get over that. He wasn't happy with me after that, but right, we strive for Super Bowls, and if you don't deliver, then
That's true. Yeah, I mean, the bar is set high.
yeah,
It's incredibly high. So I still feel like, I'll say this, I think it's gone, this negotiation or whatever is going on has gone a little longer than I anticipated or hoped. I still feel like it's going to probably get done. I trust our guy Rob when he says it's kind of getting to that point. I just think, again, this is just my opinion. I think if there's two hiccups in this thing or two things that are maybe stopping this from getting it done, is the length of the contract. Like, how long are they going to be willing to commit to? Because let's say the number is around $15 million. You got to be willing to, and if it's going to be like a 5-year deal for $15 million, you got to be willing to at least, okay, it's at least 3 or 4 years. You don't want to be paying fired coaches, right? I mean, look at the Bucs right now. They don't want to be in that position. And I throw 5 out there because I can't imagine LaFleur saying yes to a 1-year extension.
yeah.
That I can't see him agreeing to. So I'm curious on the length. And then I'm curious, I think the other part that is potentially the hang-up is if there is any demands from Ed Policy and the Packers to say, okay, but you need to make some changes on your coaching staff. Like, how loyal is LaFleur going to be to his staff, and does he also recognize, like, yeah, there's probably got to be some changes over there, but at the same time, Green Bay's got to be willing to fork over that cash for that.
Yeah,
too.
pay for it, right?
Exactly. So you can't sit there and say, in my opinion, and I'm not saying this is what they're doing, but like Ed Policy can't say, hey, Matt, you got to make changes on your staff. Oh, by the way, we're only going to give you this amount of money to make changes.
Yeah.
It's like you're handcuffing it and making it even harder for him to do that.
I'll be interested to see once he gets his extension, like, because I'm assuming he won't make staff changes during his extension talks.
Mm-hmm.
But after, that's when I think he'll make the staff changes. So Bisaccia could be out, new offensive coordinator. But it's kind of getting late to where, like, Mike McDaniel's interviewing for jobs for offensive coordinator now.
Mm-hmm.
So gotta get that deal done.
Yeah. Yep. So I agree. I want it done so they don't miss out on some of these potential, because the more that these coaches now are going to get hired, they're going to be picking people off of staffs, and the crop's going to be bare by the time, if you keep dragging this thing out. So that's where I know some people are saying, oh, it'll get done. Don't worry. I'm sure it is or will. I just want to make sure that they've got a plenty, big enough crop to pick the other guys to pair up with them, and it's not too late for that. So that's my biggest concern at this point. So that whether that is a new offensive line coach, an offensive coordinator, it remained, they're kind of in a holding pattern depending on what Jeff Hafley, if he does get a head coaching job or not. So that's that one they can't really do anything about, but or they do other changes here. That's why I want it. And the thing is, the other part is, it may already be done. We just don't know.
Yeah. Yep.
That could be the other thing too, because when he did sign his first extension, him and Goody, it wasn't publicly announced. And this one's a little bit different though, because of the spotlight on everything.
Yeah.
This one's a little bit different. And I'm curious if they are going to try to work it that LaFleur and Goody get a contract at the same time, and the lengths are connected to each other too. So I still feel like it's going to get done.
Oh, I agree.
I still feel like so. What else would be on your to-do list, your off-season to-do list, if you were running the show for the Packers? All right, send those on over, 715-830-1912. All right, send those on over. We're going to get to some picks at the back end of the program too, so we'll get to that. We've got Bucs back in action tonight. We'll hit that up. Also, don't forget, if you've got a topic at hand, if you got a suggestion that you want to throw out there for the rest of the Armchair MVPs, hey, send them on over. We'll hit it up too. One of the things that we posted, and it was one of our intern Carter's topics too, was how would you rank, how would you assess Jordan Love's season? We made that a poll question for our Post-Glass Amir 715 Speaks poll question. How would you grade Jordan Love from his season? And it's a wide majority is at a B. 72% is a B. 18% is an A. If you didn't vote or you did vote, you can tell us why you voted the way you did. But yeah, a lot of B's, and I think that's where both of us were at. We're a B too. So, all right, let's take a quick break. We'll get back to some more of your thoughts, your analysis, all that fun stuff. So we'll be right back after these quick words. 59 years ago, if you were around, what were you doing on this day? Maybe you were watching the Super Bowls 59 years ago today. Super Bowl I, Packers defeating the Chiefs to get that victory. If you think about it, I mean, I'm not that old, but 59 years ago isn't that long ago, if you kind of put it in the grand scheme of things. And that game was not sold out. And now you look at what the Super Bowl has become. It's kind of crazy to think how much, not only has the game changed, but that particular game has changed now. So it's crazy to think in 59 years that it's changed that much. So, but yeah, 59 years ago today, the Packers defeating the Kansas City Chiefs to win Super Bowl I. And, of course, we know they won Super Bowl II as well, and then not again until Super Bowl 31 and Super Bowl 45. So hopefully next year for another Super Bowl on there. But what do we got here? Oh, never mind. I thought we had an update, but we don't. So Bucks are back at it tonight. We'll see if they can bounce back and try to pick up a win against a very good Spurs team. I know we did a poll question earlier on in the week. Do you want to see the Bucks try to acquire? Because one of the rumors out there is Ja Morant, and it's still getting out there for the Bucks. It was, Polymarket Sports just a few minutes ago. Ja Morant wants to leave, but do any teams actually have the pieces to take him in return? Interested teams are Miami, Toronto, and the Bucks as the three most mentioned ball clubs right now. I'm in the camp of no. A lot of people are no, it seems like. Intern's nodding his head yes or no, that he doesn't want him either. So if this was Ja Morant from a few years ago, maybe, but he's just, can't stay healthy. He's been having some off-the-court issues in the last couple of years and such. And I just don't know if that's going to fit with Giannis. But at the same time, are the Bucks in a position to be picky? Do they need to make a desperate move to try to get things back on track? I don't know. What do you do?
It's a tough spot to be in for the GM Horst, but he's such a head case. Like, you could trade for him and then he'll get suspended the next day for doing something stupid. Mm-hmm. So I don't think Ja is the answer.
I don't either. I don't know what the Bucks can do at this point in time that would just completely switch the needle or, change the needle. I don't. I mean, I feel like they got to do something. They got to fix this thing really quick. They cannot continue to dig in this hole to where it's going to be. They can't climb out of it because it is so deep at this point. Again, I'm not one to bang on a table to fire somebody and let somebody go, but I look at the coach right now, and I look at connecting dots when he first came aboard Doc Rivers last year, and you can kind of see that's where things started to really kind of go downhill, and start to really fall off. And I still say move on from him, but they probably don't want to pay him because they're paying a lot of coaches and that, but this may come at the cost of frustrating Giannis even more and potentially losing him. So what is it? What's that one rumor? Kyle Kuzma buy Ports with 2 first-round picks. As that says there, adding Ja is the ultimate Hail Mary to convince Giannis that they are still trying to win.
See, but at this point, if you're still trying to convince Giannis that you're trying to win, like, when are you ever going to? Yeah. Because you cut Dame, you signed Turner, you got him that center that, like Brook Lopez that he played with, and it's not working. And I don't know what else they can do right now with the cap space they have, the picks they have.
Mm-hmm. And the thing is like Ja's not shooting that well either. I mean, he's maybe a change of scenery could do him, but you're still taking a big gamble on that. And I'm not the biggest Kyle Kuzma fan, but if you include Bobby Portis in that, then I just question depth at that. Like, who's coming off the bench in terms of a big, like, who's your sixth man then? Because then you got like a backcourt of they're playing AJ Green, Kyle Porter Jr., Ryan Rollins. You add Ja Morant. That's like 4 guards. You got Giannis, and then you got Turner. But then who's like your next big? I mean, no offense to Jericho Sims or Thanasis, but they're not scorers.
No.
So then you're kind of stuck trying to find another, like even a stretch 4 at that point to try to be, a scorer coming off the bench. So, I don't know. I don't like it. I get they got to make a desperate move at this point, but I don't know if that's the right one.
You'd almost have to try to find like a center to trade for, but then you're trading your assets to get Morant.
Right.
So you don't really have anything left to trade.
No. Nope. Oh, I thought, okay. Never mind. Somebody said Anthony Davis trade, and it said Bucks, but it was a trade idea. I was like, wait, did it just something just happen? So no, it was. Caught me off guard there for a little bit. So, but no, I'm not on the Morant. I'm still not on the Morant, even though that things are really going downhill here. No. I almost. At this point, though, I understand some people saying, why not just try it to see if it can get. No.
And he's hurt.
That's the thing, too. It's like, okay, Giannis is if you're going to make a move for somebody like that, it's got to be somebody that, one, when Giannis is out, he's your next go-to option. But Morant might be out, too. So then you're really, stuck with your hands tied behind your back. Because I think that's why part of the move to bring in Dame, that like they did a couple years ago, was like, okay, if Giannis misses time, we still got another option, a scoring option. They really didn't have that. They still won a lot of games, when Middleton and Drew Holiday were there. And I think that's what they thought was a weakness. Turns out it might not have been the greatest move. But you bring in Morant, okay, but that's not even a guarantee he's going to be out there on that court. So I don't think that's the best move. I don't like it. Plus, then you're just going to be loaded up with guards, which doesn't make any sense to me.
And Rollins has been playing really well.
Yeah.
So,
and he's cheaper.
Yes.
And he's already on your team. So, I'll bypass on that one. I'm still intrigued with the potential of like a Zach LaVine. I know he's older than that. So I'd be a little bit more intrigued with that. He's a little bit bigger. He's still considered a 2-guard, but at least that I'd rather have him playing a 3 than AJ Green, how it is now, because their lineup has Turner, Giannis, AJ Green, Kevin Porter Jr., and Ryan Rollins. Put AJ Green on the bench and put Zach LaVine starting there.
Yeah.
I'd feel more comfortable with that. So, all right, we got to take another break here. We'll get back to some more football talk. Final thoughts, your final checklist, to-do list. If you are running the show for the Packers, can't be a head coach. And then final call for any other topics at hand that you want to throw out there for the listeners, okay? For the rest of the listeners. So let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back after these few words. Living the dream. Jeff wants to know another poll question. Not sports related, but chili. Noodles and or beans, do they belong? I'm curious what listeners do. Depends. Some listeners say no. Noodles, no. That's goulash in my opinion. Now, I know technically, apparently, like down in, is it Texas, they say beans are not in chili. I put beans in mine. But noodles, that's goulash for me. But I'll throw it out there. Everybody else can chime in, Jeff. So help out Jeff. Text on over 715-830-1912. Now, thanks, man. Yeah, you got me hungry because it's like my lunch right now. When you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, it's like my lunchtime, and I have yet to have anything. So now I'm starving for some chili at 9:30 in the morning. So thank you, Jeff, for that. I might have to have my fourth cup of coffee just to fill in until it's actual lunchtime here. So if you're just joining us, where the heck have you been for the final half hour here? But still, John Harbaugh is the first domino to fall for head coaching news. Sounds like maybe we'll get something official a little bit later on, perhaps today and such. But all right, here we go. Rodney says noodles and kidney beans. Okay. Again, I'm not noodles. What does intern say? Do you?
My mom makes chili without noodles.
Okay, yeah. See, I'm no noodles. That's goulash. Goulash. So, do you know what goulash is, youngster?
No.
Okay, it's just noodles and chili. So okay, that's what it is. So, I did not know that Aaron Rodgers never threw a touchdown in the city of Denver. I didn't know that. That's kind of a random fact, but no, I did not know that either. So, but to-do list, checklist, got a couple more, and again, it's a lot of the same ones. Move on from Rashawn Gary and Elton Jenkins, and get a new defensive coordinator, says Dave on our texting line. Also, Tony says to move on from Rashawn Gary and get a new special teams coordinator. So, Live and Dream Jeff says no noodles, chili, and kidney beans. Yes, yeah. I got like 4 different kinds of beans in mine. So
Okay.
Oh yeah. Good for you, man. Good for you. Wait till you get our age there, intern, and then you'll be thinking about that stuff. So, but yeah. All right, I like it. So let's look at a couple more topics coming through here. We've got one topic at hand that C-Bomb had mentioned a little bit earlier. That kind of turned into a good question, I think, too. What is something that has changed in the sports world or any sport? Something like, what was some of the biggest rule changes or changes that really completely affected the game or really kind of changed? Like C-Bomb was talking about the NIL and such. But we had the 3-point line in basketball. We threw out the pitch clock. We threw out instant replay and that sort of stuff. If you have any more out there, send those on over, because I think it was kind of unique just to kind of think back and look at some of the big rule changes over the years. Like, I'm trying to think for my era, replay, I think, is got to be up there for me. Definitely NIL, which I still think is in its infancy for us to really get a total grasp of it all. It's still kind of new and shocking. Like, for me, it's really weird to see. So it's really weird for me to see players or a Twitter account say we have signed so-and-so at the college level instead of saying like committed in that.
Yeah.
So I got to go replay number 1. I'd probably go NIL 2. Pitch clock definitely on there. Although, I mean, I think we're almost at a point now too where I almost feel like I don't pay attention to it.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just part of the game now. You know, I don't know how to say it. It's like, it's just, I don't think about it that much.
What about the dynamic kickoff rule?
Oh, I hate that.
I do too.
I hate that. I hate it. I hate it. I feel like there's got to be a lot more in football. It's not necessarily one thing, but I would say like all the adjustments of what is pass interference or what is a catch.
Do we still know what pass interference is?
No, do we know what a catch is?
Yeah.
I would say like all the tinkering of that stuff has really kind of made it confusing now to what is a catch, what is a pass interference, what's reviewable, what's not reviewable. I mean, now you got it like in basketball. I mean, when I was a kid, didn't even think about that. So baseball challenges and such. So I think replay across the board has just been nuts. A lot of people saying no noodles. So, all right. No noodles. No noodles. A lot of people chiming in. So, Bloomer Tony, you're the weird one. You're the only one that said noodles and no beans. What's that about?
Wow. I've never heard that.
Bloomer Tony, what are you guys doing up there in Bloomer? With what goes on up there with that? I've never heard that. Isn't that spaghetti then?
Yeah.
Isn't that just spaghetti?
That would be spaghetti.
I mean, noodles and that's got to be spaghetti. Yeah, this is a good one, too. The runner on second base to start extra innings in baseball. That's weird.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Speeds up the game. It
speeds up the game, which I'm all for, especially when I got to sit there and watch it. But that's still kind of gimmicky for me.
I like that they didn't do it in the postseason.
Yeah.
I like that in the World Series. Mm-hmm. No runner on second. You got to score.
All right, so Bloomer Tony has okay, so I said noodles, comma, no beans, yes. Meant no noodles, yes to beans.
Okay.
So we're good. We're good. Bloomer Tony is back to being normal. So, all right. Yeah, a lot of people saying no noodles. So, Sturgeon Key says designated hitter. I can't, and noodles are not both. I'm assuming that's supposed to say and noodles or not both are good. I think that's what they're saying. So I think he's probably saying could go either or. But yeah, not even. I'll just tell you, a lot of people are just saying no to the noodle part. So yeah, we got to get some people from that. I want to know if so. We have a listener, Tom, from across the pond, actually in England, that listens. He's a Detroit Lions fan. Tom, if you're listening, what's it like over there?
Yeah,
I gotta know what's it like over there. Across from the pond. What's chili like over there? Is it a different version? I might have to reach out to him. See what if he's not listening right now. Gotta find out. So hope that's answering some of your questions there, Limited Dream Jeff, because that's got everybody chiming in and such. So Roddy says, so you're telling me I've been eating goulash all these years? Yeah, you've been eating goulash all these years. And there you go. Breaking news for you. So okay. Give me a prediction before. No, I'll ask you because I'm going to have you make your playoff picks before we go here. I'm going to save mine for tomorrow, but I'm going to put you on the spot, intern Carter, here in a little bit. So we'll get to your playoff picks. Got to think about it a little bit. Got a few minutes and such to go there. So, but what's this? Oh, I didn't even think of that. Ejiro Evero as a Steelers. Yeah, he's a youngster, defensive coordinator. That I could definitely see that
for the Steelers. Yeah,
I definitely could see that one. I might have to change my predictions. I might have to change that. All right, tell you what, let's take a quick break, our final break for this hour, and then we'll start to wrap things up. We've got picks, final call on Living a Dream Jeff's poll question. Noodles, yay or nay? Beans, yay or nay? When it comes to your chili, yay or nay? We did a few years ago a chili competition in the building. I won.
Nice.
But I will say it was with our friends Hy-Vee. Phil from Hy-Vee really took the time. He smoked meat, and you could taste the smoked meat through it. It was really good. I might have pressured some people to vote.
Did you cheat?
I did not cheat. I was just very persuasive.
There you go.
Let's just say. So, but I would have voted for Phil's because smoked meat that was really good. So, all right, we got to take a quick break and we'll wrap it up here this morning. Again, final thoughts. What is your Packers to-do list? All that good stuff. We'll be back here in just a couple minutes. Steven from the land of Bruce. I like it. Been up to Bruce many times. Good place over there. He chimes in Packers wish list. Cut Banks and Hobbs. I wish they could. I just think that dead cap money is going to be too much. Trade cut Gary. Resign Quay. Fire Rich Bisaccia. Kick a competition. Wish we could keep Willis, but he will be too much money. I would agree with that. I think Malik is probably going to get a nice payday from somewhere. So, but we'll see. Maybe. Who knows? Never know, right? Just takes. Well, what's? Oh, Clayton Kershaw is going to pitch for Team USA, even though he's retired. Okay, all right, that's cool. So, all righty, what do we got? About 10 minutes left to the top of the hour here. So, let's do some picks here. We'll start off. We do have some basketball games I want to pick here really quick. Let me bring up the schedule here because we got the Bucks in action tonight against the Spurs. So let's just run through it. Memphis, Orlando. I'm going to take Orlando.
Yeah, I'm taking the Magic.
We got Suns and the Pistons. I'm going to go Pistons.
Yep, Pistons.
We've got the Celtics and Miami. I'll roll with Boston.
I will as well.
Good one here with Oklahoma City and Houston. I'm going to go with the Thunder.
Yep.
Save the Milwaukee one for the last. Utah at Dallas. I'm going to go with the Mavericks.
Give me the Jazz.
Nice. Knicks, Golden State. I'll go Golden State.
I'll go Knicks.
All right. Atlanta, Portland. I'm going to go Atlanta.
Yeah, I'll go the Hawks.
We got Charlotte at the Lakers. I'm surprised it's only a 4.5 favorite for the Lakers. I'll go Lakers, though, still.
I'll go Lakers.
And then Bucks, Spurs. Spurs are favored. I'm going to go Spurs.
Yeah.
I hate to say it, but I'm going to go Spurs. So, all right, let's do some playoff picks with intern Carter here. I'm going to save mine for tomorrow. Let's just go top to bottom, left to right here. So we'll do the NFC side of things. So I'm looking at the graphic that you have up there. So 49ers, no George Kittle. He's done. Rematch against the Seahawks that we saw not that long ago. It was a 13-3 victory for the Seahawks that allowed them to get the 1 seed in the postseason. How do you see this one?
It's hard to pick against Shanahan, and they may be getting Fred Warner back, but I don't know. The Seahawks are just the better team, and the Niners have so many injuries, so I'll go with the Seahawks.
I'm not making my pick, but you make good points. That one's a tough one. I think that's a tough one.
I think it's the hardest one for me.
Yeah.
To be honest.
It's George Kittle is a huge loss, but I mean, they have overcome so many injuries this year so far. So, Rams, Bears.
Rams.
That was quick.
Yeah, I'm partly picking with my heart. I do not want the Bears to go any further, but I do think the Rams will win that game. Although the weather's not supposed to be great, so that could factor in.
So we would have an all NFC West NFC Championship game, which, I mean, I think the best division in football this year, so it makes sense. So how about on the AFC side of things? We've got Buffalo and Denver. That should be a good game, too.
I think Denver wins. I do.
All right. And then we've got Buffalo, Denver, excuse me. And then Houston taking on the Patriots.
This one's also hard. I'm going to take Houston. Their defense is just so
They're
good.
playing so good right now. I don't know why their defensive coordinator isn't getting more talk about head coach.
Yeah.
Head coach Matt Burke. So, all right. So you've got in the championship, you got Seahawks and Rams, and then was it Broncos and Texans? Broncos and Texans. No Josh Allen in the AFC Championship game. So
crazy.
Which game are you looking forward to the most to watch as just a straight up fan?
I would have to probably say 49ers, Seahawks.
Mm-hmm.
That one or Bills, Broncos. I think Josh Allen against that defense will be fun to watch, but I don't think he's got the weapons to be able to make that happen again.
Yeah.
So,
got a message. Corey says, Jordan Love definitely got better as the year went on. My biggest gripe early in the year was he was rarely pushing the ball down the field. Ended up being one of the leaders in average yards per attempt and completion, too. So maybe letting Love cook a little bit more. So, but, yeah, we bring that up because ask for grades. How do you kind of as you kind of mentioned too, at one point off the air, it is really hard to rank quarterbacks.
Yeah.
You know, because I think the other part too, when we get to a lot of this, I think you do have to, factor in the systems that they're in, and not to say that system quarterbacks are bad, but like, would a Lamar Jackson have the same type of success if he was in a system that asked him not to run, not to be mobile, right? I think you have to factor that into it, and it's a different type of quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think when we do these, you're like, okay, you almost have to do it, pair them up with the system that they're currently in, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So
when you've got like the top bunch of like the Mahomes and the Allens, and then you have a bunch of the like 6 through like 12 are all really similar quarterbacks. So like the Justin Herberts, the Jordan Loves, and it's hard to rank those guys. I mean, based on wins, Love's up there, but based on stats, is he like
right?
It's hard.
It is. So one more prediction from you. Do you think we will find out the LaFleur contract by Monday?
No.
Ooh.
I don't think so. I think they're going to drag this out as long as they can.
I hope not.
I hope not too. I want it right now, but
yeah.
I thought, to be personally honest, I thought I was going to have a decision by Monday because they were going to meet. I think it was Monday morning. So I thought we were going to have a decision Monday night. And it's Thursday. We really haven't heard a ton besides the report that they're going to likely get something done. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm really hoping for at least at the latest a Friday news dump tomorrow.
Yeah.
Just, the Friday afternoon, hey, we're going to throw this out there, and there you go. So I am a little, like, I haven't seen this, but usually Goody does a season-ending presser, and we haven't heard anything yet for that. So I don't know if they're kind of just waiting to get all their ducks in a row, and maybe I'm just throwing out stuff out there. So
that makes sense.
But a couple more. We've got, a couple more texters said Jordan Love B because we did the grades on there. So that seems to be, I think we can settle on it's a B. That's where the majority of people kind of put it out there for him. So here's an interesting one. So Bill Huber, talking about poll questions, Bill Huber covers the Packers. He's covered the Packers for a long time. SI used to be Packer Report. He actually had a poll question yesterday, and I just saw the results here. He said, congratulations, you were hired as the Packers president. What's your plan? Fire LaFleur, fire Goody, fire both, keep both, pray for health. Who do you think, or what option do you think got the most?
Fire LaFleur.
No.
Really?
And it's not even close. Nearly 70% said keep both and pray for health. That surprises me.
That does, yeah.
Now, Fire LaFleur had 17%. That was the second most. And this is 16,000 votes. At that point, there were 6 hours left. So we're talking, let me see if I can find the actual results here. But that does surprise me that there's that many people saying keep both. Okay, it's still, 69.7% left or voted for that.
Wow. That does surprise me.
So is it just a simple case of maybe the minority is the most vocal?
Maybe, yeah. I also think, we heard a lot after the game of Fire LaFleur, and now the emotions have kind of worn off, so you can think more clearly to where, like, Harbaugh's gone. It's time to move to Matt LaFleur, and I don't think Harbaugh was ever a candidate. But,
no. To me, I kind of take away, too, that a majority of those fans are saying the injuries were the main reason for this. That's what I take. So when it says keep both and pray for health, that's how I take it, is that they feel like, Micah being done, Tucker Kraft, Devontae Wyatt, all those guys, Zach Tom. I mean, you got to fact, Zach Tom also left that game in Denver. It was the Micah Parsons one, but Zach Tom also got hurt and never came back. So, I mean, those are a lot of injuries to try to overcome.
Elton Jenkins wasn't playing well, but he also went down, so that it loses your depth at line. So
Yep. Yeah. I'm pleasantly surprised at it.
Yeah.
Very surprised.
Yeah, I thought for sure it'd be fire him. But.
Or maybe 50-50 or close to, something like that. But no, are we turning a corner as Packers fans? Maybe. But I think you're right. If that would have been interesting to compare it. Do a poll right after that game with that same question, and then do a poll a couple days later. Is it the same?
I think it'd be different.
I think it would be different too. I think there'd be more of the fighter LaFleurs.
Because even that night, I was like, yeah, we got to fire him. And now I'm like, no, we can keep him. So.
Kind of taking that step. That's why I'm glad, like Green Bay, and some teams do it, but instantly after the season's over with, teams fire their coaches right away. And then I've always wondered, does a franchise regret it?
Yep, it's possible.
Do they regret kind of like being antsy and like, okay, you're done. You're out of here. But all right, there's your shot clock. Enter Carter, thanks for hanging out this morning with us. We got one more day this week. Tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. Maybe we'll have coaching news to break down and such. Maybe we'll actually talk about a Bucs win tomorrow too. Who the heck knows? But have a good rest of your day. Same place, same time, tomorrow morning, 6 a.m. We'll chat with you then.